At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Atlanta Braves. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop for untouchable values at the touch of a button at mybobs.com. By Optimum, presenting Mets games in crystal clear HD. By Mazda, driving matters. And by Geico, the #1 insurer in the New York market. Well, it's looking like a banner day at Citi Field. No, really, it's banner day at Citi Field. All sorts of fans reviving a Mets tradition, going back to the early days of the franchise and saluting their heroes with their homemade banners. A day to be relished by every Met fan and celebrated again today. And a pleasant good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen. Ron Darling joins me in just a moment as the Mets play the rubber game of their weekend series against the Atlanta Braves. It started here on Friday night. The Mets have beaten the Braves 4 straight times going into the series, and the Mets got off to a rollicking start with a couple of long balls. Wilmer Flores and John Mayberry going deep against Alex Wood, who had not given up many home runs this season at all. Bartolo Colon was not overwhelming, but he got the outs that he had to get. And Colon put himself in line for his 9th win of the year. Mets hanging on to the lead in the 9th, and they get their 3rd double play in the final 3 innings. First time in their history they've ever done that. And the dad at the time, didn't know it at the time, Jerry's Familia, got the save. Yesterday, Jacob deGrom got burned early on a tape measure home run by Freddie Freeman, but he kicked it in gear, and he was at his overwhelming best. 7 innings, just 1 run allowed. Shelby Miller, nearly as good, shut the Mets out for the first 6 innings, but then they rallied. Travis d'Arnaud with the hit that put the Mets in front. They took a 3-1 lead into the 9th. Looked like they had a game-ending double play, but a little bobble by Wilmer Flores cost them a chance for 2, and the Braves got run-scoring hits from Maben and there from Freddie Freeman to tie the game, and then Cameron Maben again in the 11th inning with the base hit to score 2, put the Braves in front to stay, and they won 5-3 to even up this series. It's been a kind of a series where the Mets have had to get key outs at many junctures. They did it in most of them, but not in that 9th inning yesterday.
Yeah, they didn't do it. Defense was not good yesterday. They did not get the outs that they needed. I think the thing is that they had to mix and match. I think when you look at closers, a lot of times you look at them and say, boy, a closer isn't that important. Well, he's really important when you don't have guys that are closing the game that haven't done it before. You saw it yesterday.
And Cameron Maben has had a very impressive series. This guy has resurrected his career in his first 2 months in Atlanta.
You know what's great about Cameron Maben? It's a guy that you had to wait on a little bit. He's a fantastic athlete, a guy that you thought if he could hit just a little bit, he would be one of the better players in the game. He's starting to do that now.
Stayed healthy this year, and he has really helped the Braves. So Dylan G will make the start for the Mets today. A spot start for the Mets with a 5-man rotation plus Dylan.
Well, I'm glad you defined that, Gary. I think the key, though, for Dylan is after his last start, I think he sunk to an all-time low. So this is a great point for him to pitch against the Braves. His last 3 starts against them, he's 2-0, ERA in the 1s.
Last winter, the Braves traded away slugging Evan Gattis to Houston and got back, among other guys, young Mike Fultonevich.
When you talk about Mike, you talk about a guy that has a great fastball, 95+. His secondary pitches he's still working on, but he's one of the big parts of the future for the Braves.
So the Mets and Braves on a glorious afternoon at Citi Field. It's banner day. Mets and Braves finish off their series. All the action coming your way right here on SNY. Ball on SNY is brought to you by Citi. Citi is calling up a local restaurant to be featured at Citi Field this season. Vote for a favorite now at Mets.com/Citi Call-Ups. Time to vote for your Mets All-Stars. Vote 35 times on the 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot at Mets.com. Voting is exclusively online and available on your computer, tablet, and smartphone. Vote at Mets.com now. Let's take a look at the road ahead presented by Buick. Mets finish off with the Braves today, then have 4 with the Blue Jays, 2 here and 2 in Toronto starting tomorrow night. Then they go to Atlanta for 3 and then to Milwaukee for 3 on the next road trip before they return home to play Cincinnati and Arizona. Dylan G on his way in. Yes, he's starting today. First pitch coming up from Citi Field. The field right before the game begins.
It is so nice, and I like that all the players kind of, interact with the kids and ask them how they're doing and shaking hands and taking pictures. And
most important thing when you talk to a child is always to get down to their level.
That's right.
Right? Oh, he even got to bring out the rosin bag. This is like the king of the grounds crew.
Hey, listen, I played on some teams, so we didn't have to reach the level of a child.
That was a nice ollie jump he did over the line. There's the Braves starting lineup for this afternoon. One change in that Christian Betancourt will start after A.J. Pierzynski caught the first 2 games of the series. Braves have been scoring runs. They're in the top half in the league in runs scored. But Dylan G's always had success against the Braves, and it's one of the reasons he gets the spot start today.
Yes, he has. You see his 6 starts. The numbers aren't great. He hasn't got a win yet this year. 40 and 37 on his career. 19 of those wins here at Citi Field. And I mentioned before in his last 3 starts, he's 2-0 with a 2.18. That's the right ERA number. And defensively for the Mets behind Dylan, presented by Lexus, Siciliani gets another start in left field. Lagares and Granderson, Tejada, Flores, Herrera, Duda. Tejada's going to be at third base for a while, at least till Murphy comes back. and the battery of G and Travis d'Arnaud.
Mets had to make a flurry of moves today. Dylan G was activated off the bereavement list following the death of his grandmother. Ruben Tejada activated off the paternity list after the birth of his daughter the other day. And the Mets sent down Danny Muno. That wasn't a surprise, but it was a surprise that they optioned Anthony Recker to AAA and kept Kevin Plawecki on the active roster. The rationale being that Travis d'Arnaud is still recovering from the broken bone in his hand, still getting his legs under him, so he's not going to be used 7 days a week, and Plawecki will get some playing time.
It seems like Terry Collins, the way he explained it to us, he wants to start d'Arnaud 2 or 3 days in a row, and then Plawecki. So Plawecki's going to get enough playing time
until d'Arnaud is ready to go full time, in which case they'll reevaluate.
Well, then Recker gets him at bats in Las Vegas to maybe get in a position to help the big league club.
So the Mets have a 4-man bench again, and it's an all right-handed bench today, so they're a little short-handed in that area. Jace Peterson leads things off for the Braves. Peterson 3 for 9 in the series, has a 7-game hitting streak. G's first pitch of the afternoon is poked into left field, and Peterson has himself a leadoff base hit. So Jace Peterson wasting no time. Now has an 8-game hitting streak, and the Braves have a leadoff base runner.
Well, Peterson doesn't do too much. When you look at him, you might not be impressed with the way he puts the ball in play, but he doesn't fool around. He just tries to hit the ball up the middle or the opposite way and dumps one into left field. A little bit like Aoki did when San Francisco was here.
So now Cameron Maybin, who has really emerged. Maybin hit just 175 in April. He hit 290 in May, heating up. He's hitting 444 in June, and he's up over 300 for the season. And a couple of huge hits for the Braves in yesterday's game. A hit in the 9th inning that kept them alive, and then the game-winning hit in the 11th.
Well, we heard a stat right before the game from Chip Carey, our friend with Fox Sports Atlanta, said that he has 22 hits as a Brave this year with runners in scoring position. Melvin Upton had 29 the entire time he was with Atlanta.
Maybin bluffing at a bunt, and he takes a strike. Well, Cameron Maybin was always considered a top-level talent. You look at Freddie Freeman on deck. Started out in the Detroit organization, went to the Marlins, moved on to San Diego. But he has been beset by injuries his entire career. And I went back and I looked just over the last 4 years at the number of different injuries he's suffered through. Good changeup by G. He had a knee, a hip flexor, a wrist, the other knee, and then last year a ruptured biceps tendon that cost him most of the season. That's just the last 4 years. So finally he's healthy, playing every day. He beat out Eric Young for the center field job for the Braves, and he is rolling. G ahead of him 0-2. And he misses away 1-2. Today's game changer brought to you by T-Mobile, and there is Maybin on top of the heap in the National League in the month of June. Almost halfway through the month now.
I mean, hit a pretty good breaking ball from Carlos Torres yesterday. That was his big hit.
By the way, the guy in the middle there, Bryce Harper, hit in the knee yesterday out of the Nats lineup today, and that's significant for Harper, who's having an MVP type season.
He had 3 hits against Milwaukee. His last at bat, he was drilled in the left knee and out with a bone bruise.
G looking for his first out with Freeman looming on deck. And Maybin fouls off the fastball. 91 from Dillon. G has regular rest since his last outing, but that was a relief outing against the Giants on Tuesday when an inning and 2/3 gave up a home run through 32 pitches. His last start came 11 days ago in San Diego, and that was not a good one. He lasted just 4 innings, allowed 7 runs and 8 hits. And he throws the curveball to strike out Maybin for his first out of the day.
Well, nice pitch. All set up by the inside fastball. He counters with that breaking ball off the plate away. Looks like d'Arnaud was sitting inside, and the ball kind of ended up off the plate.
So now Freddie Freeman. Freddie had the game-tying hit in the 9th inning yesterday. Also had a monstrous home run to the Shea Bridge, which was all that Jacob deGrom gave up in yesterday's game. And of course, G and Freeman have some history going back to that late night in Atlanta a few years ago.
You know, G has handled him pretty well as far as hits to at bats, but Freeman has gotten some big hits off him.
Most notably, G had a 1-0 shutout into the 9th inning in Atlanta at about 1:30 in the morning, and Freeman took him out for a game-winning home run. 1-1 to Freddie, who now has 12 home runs for the year. And is hitting for power at a more rapid rate than he ever has in his career. Highest slugging percentage of his career at .538.
I think it says a lot about this young man. He's a guy who chokes up, a guy that they really depleted the team this winter of a lot of the talent from last year.
Peterson runs. D'Arnaud with the throw, not nearly in time. Peterson stays on the base for his 7th stolen base of the season.
Great jump there by Jace Peterson. It's a good pitch to throw for D'Arnaud. Gets it out quickly. Accurate throw, little high, but Peterson easily steals the bag with that pop-up slide.
And every middle infielder does this now. Puts a tag down, keeps a tag down, just in case that runner pops off the bag. Curveball drilled into right field for a base hit. Peterson being waved around third with Granderson playing deep. He's got no chance. And the Braves have the first run of the afternoon. Freddie Freeman comes through again. His 40th run batted in. 1-0 Atlanta.
Does Freeman ever not get a hit with runner in scoring position? It's just uncanny against G and the Mets. Great swing, just a short follow through. Like you said, Granderson does not have the arm, plays really deep. Even with Peterson looking back, he can score easily the Atlanta Braves' first run. Again, this is what I was talking about. Beautiful swing and then contact. He almost just stops the follow through.
Now Nick Markakis takes a strike on the inside. Markakis 1 for 10 in this series at .296 for the year. So Freeman had a first inning home run yesterday, a first inning RBI today, getting the Braves out in front again.
You know, Gary, what I was saying is that before is that a lot of times when you have a hitter in the middle of your lineup, if you take away a lot of the people that have been around him for years, take them out of the lineup, he doesn't hit as well. He has gotten better with the new changes that have happened. Now, listen, Maven's hitting well. The team is hitting better. But he's having his best year.
Well, we talked about it often in this series, the change in approach with, the Upton brothers are gone. Gaddis is gone. Hayward is gone. A lot of swing and miss guys who could hit home runs, but you could identify them as guys you could get out if you pitched them the right way. As Markakis drives one out to left and Siciliani's there for the second out. And I wonder, when you've got a lineup of guys who make contact now like the Braves do, whether that makes people less likely to pitch around Freeman and maybe he gets more pitches to hit.
That's a good point. I think that there's no Upton behind him to pitch around Freeman and know that you can get that strikeout. I think even more so for the entire Braves squad. As a team, they feel as though everyone can get a hit on 2 strikes.
Mm-hmm. So 2 out, Freeman at first.
There's the hitting coach, Kevin Seitzer, my old teammate with the A's. Here's
Juan Uribe, 2 for 6 in this series. Started Friday night, came off the bench yesterday, and hits one right back to G. Dillon handles it for the 3rd out. Braves cash a first inning run on Freeman's RBI single. Mets come up against Mike Fultonevich in the bottom of the 1st, trailing 1-0. Siciliani gets a start in left field. Ruben Tejada back from paternity leave, so he'll get third base for the time being until Daniel Murphy is eligible to come off the disabled list next weekend.
Well, Mike Foltynewicz, you see his numbers so far this year. He did go 5 starts in a row, as you see the Toyota numbers, where he struck out 7 or more. So he has that ability to dominate, but hasn't done it of late.
See that very high whip over 1.4, and the Mets will try and take advantage today. Curtis Granderson 2 for 9 in this series, leading off against Foltynewicz, and he fouls one away, and it's 0-2. Foltynewicz, as you can see, throws hard. In the minor leagues, he was a very high walk guy. What's interesting is in the major leagues, he's actually done a better job of not walking people.
Especially of late. His last 30 2/3 innings, only he's walked 6. So he's getting better with the walks. But he's given up a lot of hits.
Working quickly against Granderson. And Curtis pops one foul. Foltynewicz came in January in the trade that sent Evan Gattis to Houston. Braves also got a couple of other prospects in that deal, including Rio Ruiz, who they think of as their future third baseman. Foltynewicz, 23 years old. Mets actually faced him the last day of last year in relief when he pitched for Houston. Gave up 3 runs in 2 1/3 innings against the Mets that day. Was in 16 games for the Astros last year out of the pen. And Granderson pulls one through the hole, a base hit. So Foltynewicz got the breaking ball up. Granderson with a leadoff hit.
Yeah, he threw them all fastballs, and then just this little hanging slider in the middle of the plate that Curtis pulls for a single. It's almost like Foltynewicz's base on balls have gotten better because he's working quicker and a better tempo. But he's still leaving a lot of pitches around the middle of the plate.
Last start, he gave up 12 hits in 5 2/3 against San Diego. Juan Lagares bunting, and he bunts it foul. Lagares had most of the day off yesterday, came off the bench to fuel the Mets' 7th inning rally. He had a base hit that opened up a 3-run 7th. Must be warm, Tim Tuffle, in short sleeves today.
Warm enough for tough.
Lagares at 271, and he pulls one foul.
Well, it's interesting that Foltynewicz was using that 4-seamer against the lefty Granderson. Now he's throwing a couple 2-seamers to the right-hander Lagares.
Yeah, Lagares hits one past the mound and into center field, a base hit. Granderson going first to third, and the Mets have runners at the corners with nobody out. Another 2-strike breaking ball from Foltynewicz results in the 2nd straight Met hit.
Yeah, great start for the Mets here. They got 2 breaking balls, like you said, Gary, hanging, and they didn't miss either of them. Lagares almost didn't miss Foltynewicz as the ball just eluded the pitcher. Eludes Peterson with the dive, and by the time it hit that grass and got to Maben, Granderson was able to go from first to third. Good start here for the Mets.
Broken bat right off the end of the bat. So now the Mets have the table set for Lucas Duda. We mentioned Foltynewicz faced the Mets last day of the season last year. It was against Foltynewicz that Duda hit his 30th home run last year, and he takes a curveball for a strike. Duda had a day off on Friday and returned with a vengeance yesterday. 2 doubles and a walk. He drove in a run and was robbed of a hit by Cameron Maben as well. And a check swing liner caught by Uribe for the first out. Uribe playing well off the line, properly positioned as Duda took that half swing, and he's retired.
It was almost an excuse me kind of swing. It's like Lucas wanted to pull the bat back at the last minute and not hit it. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe he was trying to go that way the entire time. Just a good play by Uribe.
Certainly have never seen Lucas take a swing like that before. So Duda can't get the run in. Travis d'Arnaud will try and do that. d'Arnaud hitting the cleanup spot today. Only the 3rd time in his career he's done that. He had 2 games he had cleanup last year after batting 2nd in the order yesterday. Travis has hit the ground running off the disabled list, 4 for 13 in 3 games. And it's off the glove of Bethancourt. Here comes Granderson. Bethancourt's throw, not in time. And the Mets tie it up on a passed ball off the glove of Christian Bethancourt.
Oh, a sloppy play here by the Braves in the first. Fastball away. Bethancourt, to me, looked like he was going to throw the ball to third base and try to get Granderson. Stood up like he was going to throw and forgot to catch the baseball.
Bethancourt came up through the Braves minor league system with a reputation of being a great defensive catcher, but he has not played that way this year, and it's one of the reasons why A.J. Pierzynski has gotten the bulk of the playing time. Lagares at second with one out. 1-0 to d'Arnaud, and he takes a fastball for a strike.
And Foltynewicz didn't want any part of tagging Granderson. Little phantom tag. Maybe you got to stick your nose in there. Might have had a play.
He was on the wrong side of the plate to make a play. First effective breaking ball from Foltynewicz.
And still was hanger. Still was a hanger. Well, it's the toughest thing for any young pitcher is you have to, learn at this level, and that's what Foltynewicz is trying to do.
So A.J. Pierzynski, who gets to watch today after playing a day game after a night game and playing 11 innings yesterday. d'Arnaud fouls it back. We talked about d'Arnaud earlier and the fact that the Mets are going to have to give him a little time to get his feet under him. I think they are happy that he gets to play today after 11 innings yesterday. That's a nice test for him. But then Plawecki will catch tomorrow night.
Well, I think it's a nice test. The only issue that the Mets are going to have, how do you not put d'Arnaud in the lineup? I mean, that's the hardest thing is I know Plawecki's got to play. That's why he's here. You're going to play him every third or fourth day. But d'Arnaud has become the centerpiece of the lineup already.
Well, I think you can DH him the 2 games in Toronto. That will certainly keep his bat in the lineup and allow him to ease his way back in catching-wise. 2-2 from Foltynewicz, and d'Arnaud fouls back the high fastball.
I forgot about those other rules. I better work on that.
It's just 2 days. That's far bigger issues to deal with than the DH when it comes to playing the Blue Jays the next 4 days. The Blue Jays have won 10 games in a row and scored 75 runs in those 10 games.
They've only allowed 35, so their run differential is plus 40 in 10 games.
Well, they've scored, I think it's right now 57 runs more than any other major league team this year. And Texas is second in runs scored.
And everyone up and down that lineup can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Lagares at second with one out, a run already home. Foltynewicz is trying to find his bearings. 7th pitch of the at bat coming to d'Arnaud, and Travis goes down swinging on an up and in fastball, and that's the second out.
Well, Foltynewicz got d'Arnaud to go out of the strike zone. You see that 4-seamer coming out of the hand of Foltynewicz up in the strike zone. He got d'Arnaud to chase.
So 2 out. Lagares still at second, and here's Wilmer Flores, 2 for 8 in this series with a double and a home run. Talking about the Blue Jays and this hot streak, which has brought them within 1 game of first place in the American League East. Those are the numbers during the 10-game winning streak. Team slugging percentage over 500. I think that pretty much says it all. Hooked in the air to left field, chasing Johnson back. He'll get there, and he makes the catch. Side retired. Mets get an unearned run. Curtis Granderson getting it started with a base hit. Juan Lagares finding the middle, and then a pass ball brings the run home. A 1-1 game as we go to the second at Citi Field.
the best ones I've seen.
That's great. Very, very nice.
Yeah,
every Met fan wishes David all the best.
Yep. Oh, look at the kid on the right. That was me. The number 1 cut. You go with that to the barbershop. Number 1, that's it. Boom.
Makes it a lot easier. Much less time in the chair. No tears. Just buzz and go.
Good with the girls, though, Gary. I'm telling you.
Kelly Johnson leads off in the second and takes high for ball 1. Thing is, I never did that as a kid. Now that's all I do. It's the number 1.
Yeah, I guess if I had the option, I'm glad I did. That went this way.
Well, Dylan G gave up a first inning run. Mets have gotten him even. Andrelton Simmons on deck, then Christian Bethancourt. And Johnson lifts one to center, chasing Lagares back to the warning track. Reaches off and can't make the catch. Johnson heads to second, and he's in standing with a double. Directly over Lagares' head. Normally, you expect him to catch anything hit over his head. Not this time.
You know what's interesting about this play is I think he had it in his back pocket, or thought he did initially, but that ball kept on carrying him and beat him to the wall. And that first left the bat, I think he thought he had a beat on it and was going to get it. But just carried enough and crashes into that center field wall.
So Kelly Johnson has a leadoff double, his 4th double of the year. And now Andrelton Simmons, who had his 2nd career 4-hit game in yesterday's contest. 5 for 7 in this series.
Well, the target is down and away, and if you're Dylan G, you can't live there. I mean, no pitcher can live there. That's the mistake zone for any hitter.
Well, this has been, as Dylan expressed it, the weirdest season of his career. The trade rumors, out of the rotation, in the rotation, back in the rotation, on the disabled list, in the bullpen, getting a spot start today. But he said this week it's time to put all that behind him.
Yeah.
Grounded to short. Johnson hustles back to second as Flores makes the play on Simmons for the first out. And, you know, I ask you as somebody who's gone through it, is it even possible to mentally prepare for this role that he has now, which is relief pitcher who occasionally starts? How do you figure out how to handle yourself?
I would love to use some revisionist history and say that I was better at it, but I was not. It was a very difficult time. You feel like you're worthless to the team. You feel like you're worthless to anyone else in baseball. You feel like you're not doing your job. All the things that I think that make Dylan G so important to this ball club and are so important to him.
So the question is, how does that affect what happens when you climb that mound?
Well, I think what you have to do is you have to play some kind of mental games with yourself where you just say, hey, listen, let's start today. Everything that's gone on before, let's wash it away. Let's just start today. And maybe, you know, being on the bereavement list, maybe seeing family in a difficult situation can sometimes remind you of what's really important, and wash it away and start anew today. Hard to do, but that's what he's got to do.
Well, it's important to remember how valuable Dylan G has been to this franchise the last 5-6 years. Line to center by Bethancourt. That's a base hit. Johnson had to hold up, and Lagares trying for him to third and almost got him. And now Tejada will hang on to the baseball. Johnson didn't read that ball well, and Lagares almost nailed him getting to third. It's a base hit for Bethancourt.
Well, first good swinging by Bethancourt. Another ball down the middle from Dylan, a guy that has to live on the corners and down the bottom of the strike zone. Lagares, this is not a bad attempt. And you say to yourself, why? Guy might go to second. No, there's no chance of the runner going to second there. So he knew that he had a free chance to take a shot at Johnson.
So runners at the corners with one out, and now the pitcher Mike Foltynewicz will come to bat. 2 for 17 in his professional career. He had never taken a professional turn at bat before this year, having come up through the Astros organization. So this is it's a new experience for him. He has 2 hits and 1 sacrifice.
Now, what you can think of if you're smart, Dylan, you can throw a ball, keep it up in the zone. If he bunts it back at you, you can look the runner back and can sometimes get two on a bunt with one out. Because your play, if you didn't have anyone on third, if you're the pitcher and it's right back at you, just try to get the out at second, right? But if you have a guy in third, it doesn't change that. You just have to look him back. And Johnson has no speed. So if you look him back a little, you keep him there, and then you try to proceed with the double play.
You got Tejada playing third base, very conscious of Johnson following him if he charges. Boltonevich bunts it foul at the plate, and it's 1-2.
He's shaking his head like, I was better in that other league where they had the DH. People ask all the time, how come pitchers aren't better hitters? This guy hasn't hit in 5-6 years. Hasn't picked up a bat.
Might not have hit in high school for all we know.
There you go.
They have the DH in most high school leagues. Still going to be bunting with 2 strikes, and that's strike 3. Couldn't get the bunt down. Second strikeout for Dylan G in the second out of the inning. So 2 out. Bethancourt still at first, and here's Jace Peterson, who hit the first pitch of the game into left field for a base hit, stole a base and scored a run. Johnson at third, Bethancourt at first with 2 out. So G trying to maneuver his way around a leadoff double here in the second inning. Facing Peterson, and he goes after the first one again, hits it deep to right. Back goes Granderson looking up, and it's out of here. Jace Peterson with his second home run of the year, a 3-run shot, and the Braves take a 4-1 lead in the second inning. Well, he wasted no time his first at bat, and neither did he here.
I believe this is a first pitch changeup that Peterson just got enough, well, of course, enough wood on. Yeah, just a changeup up in the middle of the strike zone, and just kind of tomahawked it out of Citi Field. Johnny Gomes likes to hit. Not a home run hitter. Gets a pitch that all you have to do is put the bat on it. G hoping the ball stayed in play. Flabbergasted that it didn't.
Peterson had 1 home run in 203 at bats before that pitch. Now he's got his second. So the Mets behind again. Here's Cameron Maybin, who struck out his first time up. Jace Peterson, yet another player acquired in a trade during the offseason, picked up from San Diego in the Justin Upton deal. Shallow right, Granderson in to get it, and that retires the side. But Peterson's 3-run homer puts Dylan G in the hole. 4-1 Atlanta in the second.
shot before. It's the pitching coach who doesn't know what to say to you, the catcher who sits next to you and doesn't say a thing until you speak to him, because no one wants to irritate what's already irritable.
Daryl Siciliani leads off against Mike Foltynewicz in the second inning. It's 9 syllables between them.
That's right.
Foltynewicz now staked to a 3-run lead, and they're still not talking. Siciliani's had a very nice week. 5 hits in his last 10 at bats, and has really solidified his spot on this roster. We discussed yesterday the reclaiming of Kirk Neuenhuis and how that might affect Siciliani. Well, this one's fly down the left field line, and Kelly Johnson over and makes a nice catch, reaching over the sidewall. Very nicely done by the converted infielder. And he retires Siciliani, who made a play in the same general neighborhood yesterday.
Well, Johnson gets over there with a little leap, sticks his spike right into the padding there. That stops him from really getting his whole body into that grating. Nice job by Johnson.
So one tough out and nobody on, and Ruben Tejada coming up. Anyway, the Mets put Neuenhuis on the 40-man roster, but he is not on the 25-man active roster. So it looks like Siciliani's spot is safe.
Well, he deserves it to be safe. He's played the best of all the guys that they've brought up, who are kind of ancillary players, play once in a while. He's been the best.
Good curveball by Foltynewicz, and it's 0-2 to Tejada, just back from the birth of his daughter. Took the 3-day paternity leave and now trying to get himself reacclimated. Ruben had cooled down before his break. 0 for his last 13 after a nice hot stretch. Well, it certainly will tighten up the defense at third base, which has been a huge concern for the Mets the last couple of weeks. Curveball drilled down the line. That's a fair ball going to the corner. And Tejada cruises into second base with a 1-out double. First at bat after the birth of his daughter, and Tejada's got an extra base hit.
Well, the Mets have 3 hits. 3 hits on breaking balls. 2 sliders that were hanging, and this curveball that hung in the inside part of the plate as this ball hit over the head of Uribe. Tejada sees this pitch, opens up that front hip, and that keeps the ball fair. Allows him to get that bat to the ball.
So a runner in scoring position for Dilson Herrera, hitting 8th in the order. Herrera 3 for 7 in this series. He's come back nicely from the disabled list. Coming back from a fractured finger. And he fouls one off the right side. Does Freeman have enough room to get it? He does. Nice play by Freeman for the second out. So a big out for Foltynewicz as he gets Herrera, and now he can face the pitcher G.
Oh, nice play here by Freeman, who's played enough games to know his way around Citi Field. Defensively behind Foltynewicz this afternoon for the Braves. Kelly Johnson, who made that play in left field. Maben and Markakis in the infield. Uribe gets a start. Simmons, Peterson, and Freeman, who made that catch. And Bethancourt, who has a pass ball so far, behind the plate.
Dylan G attacking first pitch, fouls it back. Dylan 1 for 9 on the season, looking for his first run batted in. It's not bad. It took 5 outs to show the defense.
Well, you know, it's not as important as it once was.
Depends who you talk to. And on 3 pitches, Foltynewicz takes care of his opposite number for his second strikeout. Mets get a double from Tejada. Braves make a couple of nice defensive plays in the inning in foul territory. Kelly Johnson up against the sidewall. Freddie Freeman with the reach. 4-1 Atlanta after 2. SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, featuring pitch-by-pitch coverage, player cards, and in-depth stats. Check out SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. The view from the promenade.
It's almost like the upper tank at the Big Shea. Not as high, right?
Not nearly as high. Oh. More like the mezzanine at Shea. Freddie Freeman takes inside from Dylan G as we start the third inning. Freeman delivered the first run for Atlanta with a base hit in the first inning.
I know it probably won't be considered one of the highlights, but it was one of my highlights, was doing the games from that upper tank. What year did we do that? Maybe second year?
That was the last year that Shea was open in 2008. Fastball by G2-1.
And that was still, what, 20 rows below where you sat, right?
Right. We were around the front of the upper deck, not up in the reserved seats, which went up about 18, 20 rows.
Yep.
Maybe more than that.
Beautiful day game, summer day.
Freeman takes one the other way. Siciliani closing ground and gets there for the first out.
Interesting to watch the board as you see the players all, when they run off the field after they make an out, they watch the replay board to see where the pitch was, where they hit it, where the guy was playing. I mean, all of them do it.
At least they do that after the play is over.
Yeah.
As Nick Markakis steps in. You know, in some NFL stadiums now, if a guy is running for a touchdown, he can watch himself as he's running
to make sure if the guys are on behind him, exactly, how far they are behind him. Yeah,
which is crazy, and that should not be part of the game, right? That there should be a way of preventing somebody from using the video board to his advantage while the play is going on.
Come on, it's the NFL. Every day there's something.
Nick Markakis takes his side.
Every day there's something, and every Sunday you got to watch the games. I mean,
apparently, judging by the rating,
right?
Markakis just 1 for 11 in this series. Had the dreadful time of it on Friday night when he came up 3 times in a row with the bases loaded and did not drive in a single run. A comebacker and 2 double plays. That's hard to do.
Well, especially when you're the caliber of player that Markakis is.
Well, I need to ask you a question about that in a moment.
Yeah.
Markakis drills one up the middle, and he's got a base hit. So Markakis has his second hit in the series. So here's Nick Markakis, who's been a terrific player. We've talked a lot during the series about the fact he hasn't hit a home run this year. Can you live with a cleanup hitter who doesn't hit any home runs? Or does that at some point have to change?
I think it has to change. I think if you look at his on-base percentage, he's a guy that's fit more to hit first or second in that lineup for the Braves. They don't have that cleanup guy right now, and that seems to fit Freddie Gonzalez's lineup better. But I think it's definitely going to change. The thing about it, you get a guy like Markakis who's been such a good player, and you think of all the analytics you have to analyze players. But still, I think as someone, you still fall in love occasionally with the back of that baseball card, and the kind of player he was for Baltimore.
Uribe hits a shot up the middle. So back-to-back hits against Dylan G here in the third, and nothing's really going right for Dylan so far this afternoon. They're just hitting the ball hard almost every at bat.
If we showed where all the pitches have been hit by the Braves so far, they would all be just a round circle of about a foot right down the middle, about belt high, waist high. And that's a problem for any guy.
Particularly somebody who doesn't bust the radar gun like Dylan G. So now Kelly Johnson, who hit one over Lagares' head for a double his first time up. Braves now with 4 runs and 7 hits, and there's been nothing cheap about any of it. Terry Collins had to use a lot more bullpen than he planned yesterday for a lot of different reasons, not the least of which was that Jerry's Familia wasn't available and the Mets couldn't close it out in the 9th. So the last thing he needs is for G to get knocked out of the box early today. 1-1 to Johnson. turns out, as we found out after the game, Sean Gilmartin was not available yesterday because he had been up in the bullpen 5 days in a row. But you'd have to think he would be the long guy if the Mets need one today.
Which would turn around the lineup. I mean, you don't want to have to do that. You need Dillon to get at least 15 outs for you here in this ball game,
which he was a sure bet to do.
Yeah.
51 straight starts, he went at least 5 innings until his last one in San Diego.
You know, this is the other way I look at it, though, Gary, is that you're looking at trying to win a series, going in against a 4-game series against an incredibly hot team. See Simmons on deck, and even I think, you know, more importantly, I think this is a team that doesn't score a ton of runs. So you can't let your team get behind 5, 6, 7 to 1.
One and two to Kelly Johnson, and he pulls one through the hole, a base hit. Markakis being waved around third. Granderson's throw will go to third. It's a little bit wide. 3 straight hits for the Braves produce a run, and now it's 5-1 Atlanta.
Just a hanging breaking ball down, but still pulled right in that hole by Johnson, who's got 2 hits already. Well, Granderson is not going to come home. He had no chance at Markakis. Tried for Uribe, who doesn't have a lot of speed, but he, after Markakis scores the 5th run, is still able to go first to third. Uribe, his body belies the kind of player he is. He's a hard-nosed player who's a winning player.
So the Braves with a run in the first, 3 in the second, have a run home here in the third. Dan Worthington out for a conversation, and it's Alex Torres who is the first man up in the Mets bullpen. Alex has worked each of the last 2 days. Wound up with a blown save in the 9th inning yesterday. So now Andrelton Simmons with first and third and 1 out. Uribe at third and Kelly Johnson at first.
With Torres, you're trying to get loose. If you make it all the way back to the top of the lineup with Jace Peterson, a lot of work for G still.
Simmons grounded to short his first time up, and he takes the fastball inside. Andrelton Simmons, with his 4-hit game yesterday, is now 13 for 28 against the Mets this year. He's hitting over 450 against Mets pitching this year, and it's been quite a turnaround for Simmons in terms of his ability to put the ball in play with 2 strikes and do it effectively. He did that 3 times yesterday. And he pulls that one, caught by Tejada for the second out. You know, there have been 2 outs in this inning, and they've both been bullets off the bat of Freeman and now Simmons. So 2 out, runners remain at first and third. You know, we mentioned earlier about Tejada returning to the lineup today and tightening up the defense at that spot. Saw an incredible note about Danny Munoz's day yesterday. You know, he had 3 errors, tied a club record. Only the second Met ever to have 3 errors in a game where he only had 3 defensive chances. And incredibly, the other guy to do that was an outfielder. You say, how could that happen? It was Benny Agbayani. He had 3 throwing errors on the only 3 chances that he had in a game.
And he usually mostly played left field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gee.
I found that almost impossible. Betancourt chops one for Flores, makes the flip to Herrera, and that retires the side. But the Braves tack on a run. That's now down 5-1 going to the bottom of the third. They've come to bat. Mets have a lot of work to do against the rookie right-hander Mike Foltynewicz. SNY Super Slow Motion brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Not as humid this afternoon, but still warm in the sunshine. Good day for sunscreen and a hat. And a day out at the ball game. The Mets have not won often this year when they've had to outscore the opposition. This is one of those games where if they're going to win, they're going to have to do that.
You know, but if you're the hitting coach and you're on the bench, you implore your players, say, come on, let's get it going. We can come back against this guy. He has struggled the last month or so.
I mean, Foltynewicz is a guy who's given up more hits than innings pitched and is trying to get his feet under him in the major leagues. Now he's got a 4-run lead, second time around the batting order. Curtis Granderson had a base hit to lead off the first inning and scored the Met run. Granderson, Lagares, and Duda for the Mets in the third. And he hooks that one into right center for a base hit. So Granderson is 2 for 2. And Curtis got a little streak working here. Last 5 games now, 8 hits and 19 at bats.
And more of these hits to the pull side, Gary. Again, another fastball out away from Curtis. To me, it's obvious that he's trying to pull more. And it's resulting in some more hits.
So the Mets have their 4th hit against Foltynewicz, and now Lagares, who broke his bat and singled up the middle in the opening inning. And Foltynewicz runs one inside. And now 2-0 to Lagares with Duda on deck. Foltynewicz began the year in the minor leagues, made 4 starts in AAA before the Braves called him up. Had a 2.08 ERA, made his Atlanta debut May the 1st, and in fact won his first 2 starts and has only won 1 since. There's a strike, 2-1. Lagares 3 for 8 in this series. Has Granderson at first and nobody out. And a little flare in front of second base. Simmons with the off-balance flip. And the nice grab by Peterson. No chance to turn 2. Simmons makes plays that you just don't expect.
I thought to myself, his only play is to first base. I didn't know that he had the Harlem Globetrotter play that he could throw back to second base like that. I think that's a risky play, to tell you the truth, by Peterson. Not the throw, but there's no need for him to catch this ball barehanded. Catch it with your glove.
Well, there's no way you're going to double up Lagares on that.
And if
play.
You drop it, you look like a fool.
And by the way, was Peterson on second base?
Neighborhood, Gary. It's a city of neighborhoods.
Does straddling the bag when you catch the ball count as the neighborhood play?
They do. They count that as the neighborhood play.
Thought it was only getting out of the way of the slide, which I don't think he was doing. Here's Duda with Lagares at first and 1 out. Duda hit a liner to third that was caught his first time up. There are your doubles leaders in the National League. Duda tied for second, 2 behind Adrian Gonzalez. Presented by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code NYM for free entry. And Foltynewicz again falls behind 2-0.
So Rizzo on that list. You see the Cubs game last night, 2 hours and 48-minute rain delay.
It worked out perfectly for the Cubs fans because they were able to watch the Blackhawks win Game 5 during the rain delay. Lined into center field, over Simmons, base hit. Lagares read it well. He'll go first to third. So Duda just able to elude the glove of Simmons, which seems to be just about everywhere. And the Mets have first and third and 1 out.
This is the first time I've ever seen a shortstop almost make like a highlight player, as Simmons almost tried to get back there and backhand this ball that was hit off the end of the bat by Duda.
But would it have shocked you if he had?
No, it would not have.
So Duda now 3 for 5 in this series, and the Mets get d'Arnaud to the plate with first and third and 1 out. Travis was struck out his first time up. So Foltynewicz, who has been giving up a lot of hits, is giving up a lot of hits. 5 hits and 2 1/3 as the Mets try to fight their way back. Oh, does that look good? Mr. Softy. Remember Mr. Softy truck coming through the neighborhood?
That's right.
Big cut by d'Arnaud, 1-1.
Continues to pour that ball up in the strike zone to d'Arnaud, who's asking the home plate umpire, Gary Cederstrom, is that out of the strike zone? The problem is he's missing that pitch so far by d'Arnaud, but that is his home run pitch also.
Curveball misses, and it's 2-1 to Travis. Ninth major league start for Mike Foltynewicz. Is there something in the development of a young pitcher learning how to pitch with the lead?
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, there is, because it's not with a lead, it's with a big lead. I think that's the issue, is that you feel as a young pitcher, you're almost embarrassed if you give up the lead. You have to just stick to your game plan.
And he walks d'Arnaud to load the bases. So the Mets will get the tying run to bat here in the third, trailing 5-1. First walk given up by Foltynewicz.
The problem with Foltynewicz is that he's working with a young catcher, so they're both learning at the same time. Second, he hasn't shown that he can get a breaking ball over that's deceptive enough for a swing and miss. So really he is pitching this entire game with just 2 pitches, a 4-seam and a 2-seam fastball. And Roger McDowell, the pitching coach, is going to try to help him out here in this predicament.
Well, the Mets will be bringing up Wilmer Flores with the bases loaded and 1 out. The Mets only have 1 grand slam this year, and Wilmer has that one. So Foltynewicz presented with a 4-run lead, trying not to hand it back.
I think it lets everybody out there know that if you can throw 95 plus, it does not make you a pitcher B. Still have to be able to get breaking pitches over, change speeds.
Lagares, Duda, and d'Arnaud the base runners with 1 out. Wilmer flied to left his first time. And he fouls off the first pitch fastball, 0-1. Flores with 10 home runs in his 10th here on Friday night. Darryl Siciliani waits on deck. A lot of hitting early in this game on both sides. And it bounces away from Bedcourt, but it comes right back to him, and he'll put the tag on Lagares. A great bounce for the Braves, and that's the second out of the inning. It is very short from home plate to that back wall, and Bedcourt got as good a bounce as you can get.
It was almost like a pitch back. You've never seen anything like this. You can't fault Lagares for this play, because when he goes behind him, it should have been easy for him to score, but it went in between all that advertising, and it ended up hitting the brick. As soon as he sees this go by, he makes the proper jump. It's just the ball went in between the advertising, hit the brick wall, and rebounded back so hard that he's able to make the play at home.
So it goes to put out 2 unassisted for the second out. Runners at second and third for Flores. And he lines one the other way, a base hit. Duda's in to score. d'Arnaud's going to be waved home. The throw by Markakis on a hop, not in time. Throw down to second. Flores is out to end the inning. But Wilmer Flores drives in a pair with an opposite field single to get the Mets back to within 2 runs. Markakis has that good arm, but d'Arnaud beat his throw. Bethencourt with a strong arm as well. Got it down to Simmons for the tag play on Flores to end the inning. 5-3 Atlanta after 3. Mets in saves during their last championship season?
Well, this is an interesting question. I mean, obviously, with
two candidates.
Yeah, two candidates. I mean, my first is to go to the left-hander, but it might be the right-hander. I know the right-hander had 22.
Well, Roger also is that the year he won 14 games?
14 wins and 22 saves.
So it's either McDowell or Orozco.
Yeah.
I don't think Doug Sisk's not getting there.
Dougie.
Mike Foltynewicz leads off in the fourth inning. Braves 5 runs, 8 hits. The Mets 3 runs, 6 hits. The runs have been flowing at Citi Field this afternoon. Foltynewicz struck out trying to bunt his first time up. G just looking for a clean inning. He's given up runs in each of the first 3.
I mean, 14 hits so far, top of the fourth.
Jace Peterson, who has the biggest hit in this game, waits on deck. Well, for Dylan G, this is his 3rd appearance since coming back from the disabled list. Remember, he was out a month with a groin injury. He had the start in San Diego, the relief appearance against the Giants, and this 8 2/3 innings, 13 runs, 19 hits since his return. The 3 starts that he made before he went on the disabled list were all terrific.
Well, we saw a lot of that last year, too. Right before he went on the disabled list, he really was having a great year. And then when he came back, those are the numbers. Just awful for Dylan. So it tells me, to me, he didn't come back 100%.
Last year he missed 2 months with a lat injury. This year 1 month with a groin injury. And he strikes out Foltynewicz. That's his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon. 1 out in the 4th. So now Jace Peterson, who has now hit 2 home runs in the major leagues, and he's made them count. His first major league home run was hit against Matt Latos in May. It was a grand slam. His second major league home run today in a tie game against Dylan G, a 3-run home.
He's working backwards for the cycle of home runs for the year.
Well, he can't hit a 2 home run here. And he takes a big cut, 0-1.
Just a little change up right in the middle of the plate, almost sitting on a tee when you throw a pitch like that.
Little flare into shallow center. Lagares coming on hard, diving, but he can't make the catch. Peterson heading for second. Flores won't be able to get it there in time, and it's a bloop double for Jace Peterson, and he's 3 for 3. So Lagares had one hit over his head by Kelly Johnson. This one just in front of him by Jace Peterson.
Well, good try by Lagares with the backhand, but could not get to the ball in time to hold Peterson to a single. Good aggressive attempt, and I was kidding about the cycle of home runs. Now Peterson on the way maybe to a cycle in this game.
Well, he had to get traded to even have a chance for a cycle. Remember, he was a Padre, and the Padres, they just don't hit for cycles. Never have. So that's hit number 9 for the Braves. And now Cameron Maybin with a runner at second and 1 out. Maybin has struck out and flied out, and he takes a letter high strike. By the way, we mentioned Peterson hit his first home run, the grand slam against Matt Latos, who last night came back from the disabled list for Miami and pitched wonderfully.
He looked like the old Latos, 11 strikeouts.
Beat the Rockies 4-1. Stanton drove in 4. Maybin with the bunt sits on the line, but it's just foul. Like for a moment it might stay fair. Not a terrific play there, a bunt with 1 out.
Well, it's a bad play by Maybin. It's even not a worse play by d'Arnaud, but d'Arnaud had to pick that up right away because you can't wait for it to go fair, because if it does, you're not going to have a chance to throw out the speedy Maybin. See this ball? Okay, it's fair. As soon as it goes foul, you've got to pick it up. For a second, to me, it looked like d'Arnaud was waiting to see if it would turn fair. See that? That delay? That is not good. He would not have gotten Maybin at first. Sweep that away as soon as you can.
If you can't get it initially in fair territory. Good curveball from G to strike out Maybin for the second time. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 4 on the day, 4 out for G.
That's 2 curveballs now that have gotten Maybin. I think that you have to walk Freeman here with a runner on second base. proceed to the next hitter.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
You gave me a number before about Freeman against the Mets with runners in scoring position.
Well, I got it from Mark Simon, who tweeted it out. Who's one of the best. 441 with runners in scoring position. 30 for 68. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a number like that.
Well, how about this on Freeman? He became a regular in 2011. And, you don't think of Freeman as a big home run hitter. He's a great hitter. Most home runs against the Mets since 2011. Giancarlo Stanton has 20. Ian Desmond has 16. Freeman is third with 15. So taking no chances against the budding Met killer. And Nick Markakis will get the chance instead. First walk of the day given up by G. 2 on and 2 out. Markakis singled up the middle his last time up. 1 for 2 on the day. So with the Mets bullpen active again, G trying to keep himself in this game. Down by only 2 after the Mets rallied in the last half inning. And he gets the changeup in for a strike. Alex Torres, who was up earlier, on call for a second time. Another changeup to Markakis, a ball and a strike.
You see those numbers. A lot of that happened in the first game of the series. A lot of trickery here by G. 2 changeups to start the at bat against Markakis.
And he pulls that one toward the right field corner, and that is down and up over the wall for a ground rule double. That might cost the Braves a run, but Peterson will score. Freeman will stop at third. Markakis an RBI double. The Braves have scored in all 4 innings and now lead 6-3. And it's just not getting any better for Dylan G.
Well, 3 changeups in a row to a good hitter, a good professional hitter is just not going to make it. And middle of the plate, Markakis was ready for that. That big, if that landed on the grass, it probably goes up against the wall. But since it landed on the warning track, it bounced higher off that wall behind the fence.
Would have been interesting had it stayed in play to see if Freeman could have scored from first. But he has to stop at third, and now Uribe takes a slider off the plate for ball 1. Well, one more hit, and you have to figure G's out of the game, but one more hit, and the Mets could be out of the game.
That's right.
So this is enormous right here against Uribe with 2 in scoring position, and the Mets down 6-3. And he fouls off the slider. 1-1. Dylan had a game earlier this year in Miami. He pitched into the 8th inning and threw 70 pitches. Today he's at 71 in the 4th. Give you an idea how his day has gone. Uribe hits one toward the middle of the diamond. Herrera able to smother it. That saves a run. Freeman comes in to score, but Markakis has to stop at third, and now it's 7-3, and that's going to be it for Dylan G. Uribe gets the infield hit, but a good play by Herrera to save a run.
Well, shaded up the middle is Herrera, and this is what you have to do. Good hustle by the young Herrera to keep that in play. Saves a run, but boy, the damage has been done.
So Dylan G will exit. 3 2/3 innings, 7 runs, 11 hits. Not what he had in mind. Alex Torres coming in. The call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. 7-3 Atlanta in the 4th. We'll be right back.
owns right-handers, but brought in here to face the left-handed Kelly Johnson.
Yesterday was asked to try and get one batter for a save. Couldn't do it. Freddie Freeman tied the game against him. Now he comes in with 2 on base. Markakis at third. Uribe at first. 2 runs home in the inning. 7-3 Atlanta. Kelly Johnson's already 2 for 2. And takes up and away for ball 1. Johnson hit one over Lagares' head for a double in the second. Then drove in a run with a single to right in the third. "72 pitches for Dylan G. A spot start that turned into more than a spotty start." And that's drilled into right field, a base hit for Kelly Johnson, and the hits just keep on coming. Markakis comes in with the 8th Atlanta run. Kelly Johnson is 3 for 3, his second run batted into the day.
Looks like a fastball that was supposed to be in, just really down the middle. A lot of down the middle pitches for these Braves team. That's why they've got 12 hits. Not through the 4th.
So now Andrelton Simmons 0 for 2, grounded to short and hit a hard line drive to third that was caught. We wonder, with Alex Torres in the game for a third straight day, about availability in that Mets bullpen, and we have no way of knowing who, might have something wrong, might not be available. But the Mets have a full complement out there, and here's Torres pitching the third straight day.
Well, I think what they're thinking is that he was going to easily be able to try to get out of this inning with 2 outs and just get one batter, Johnson. But sometimes that doesn't always work out that way.
And then go to somebody else the next day.
Yes.
For more of a traditional long relief role.
The clean inning, as they call it. Start Gil Martin off with a clean inning.
Or maybe even Parnell, to get him back-to-back days after making his season debut yesterday. Well, it certainly makes a big difference that third out was just not available to Dylan G, and that it's now an 8-3 game. At 6-3, this is still a manageable game for the Mets. But their offense, while it's been better the last few days, certainly is not the kind of powerhouse that you expect to be able to come from big numbers down.
The one saving grace is that Fultonevich hasn't proven that much so far in this game either.
And their Braves bullpen is still a source of great concern to them. So who knows how this game might end up. Simmons, the 8th man up in the inning. Bethancourt is on deck. Rounded down to third. Tejada's play is to second. Gets the force there to finally put an end to the inning. But the Braves add 3 runs and lead at 8-3 as we go to the bottom of the 4th.
in the hotels. They're on the streets. They're carrying placards. They're going through the place. You find them over here in right field. 4 innings later, if you get a base hit, they'll be over on the left field line. They make up wonderful placards. The placards are terrific.
See, the greatest thing about Casey Stengel was not just that he was a great manager, which he was, and he won World Series with the Yankees and all that. It's that he was the greatest PR man in the history of sports. That he had a team that lost 120 games. 120. They won 40 and lost 120, and he got more people to come out of the ballpark than he would have had they been a good team.
So he made like P.T. Barnum for a few seasons.
He was amazing. He really was.
With Joe D.
The original manager of the Mets for the first 3.5 seasons till he broke his hip in 1965 and had to pack it in. Mentored the Mets their 2 years at the Polo Grounds and the first 2 years at Shea. Daryl Siciliani leading off the home 4th inning.
I love that the microphones that he had hanging around his neck, they haven't even changed that much. They're a little smaller.
A little bit. Siciliani hit a foul fly that Kelly Johnson made a nice play on his first time and got out of the way of that pitch.
Look at the mic.
Well, they didn't have wireless in those days.
I mean, at least try to bury it under the shirt, kind of make it look semi-professional. They just draped it around his neck.
That was the standard of the day.
It was.
We were talking about 53 years ago. Siciliani gets a hold of one, hits it out to right. Markakis takes a look. That ball is out of here. In the Pepsi porch. Daryl Siciliani with his first Major League home run. And the Mets keep fighting back. It's now 8-4 Atlanta. What a week this kid has had.
Every day he does something to impress you. He brought out the apple. I mean, this was a bomb. That's what we were talking about before. G has had a rough day today, but Fultonevich has had a rough day also.
So Siciliani gets his first big league home run, and they'll try and find the fan who caught that ball and see if they can retrieve it for a souvenir. Now Ruben Tejada, who doubled down the left field line his first time up.
Well, just looks like a changeup maybe in the middle of the plate. Great catch in the Pepsi porch. That would have been right on us.
2-0 to Tejada.
And a low 5. Boy, how good does that got to feel?
From back on the ranch in Oregon to hitting a home run in the major leagues. Grounded to Simmons. And he throws out Tejada for the first out. The home run means $2,000 for an NYC community partner, courtesy of Citi. For Fultonevich, that's 7 home runs allowed in 50 innings this year. So he's had some bobbles handling prosperity today. Had a 4-run lead going into the bottom of the 3rd, gave up a couple, had a 5-run lead heading into this half inning and gives up a home run. Looks like some negotiating going on there.
Yes, I see
to get
it.
The baseball for Siciliani.
No, he's got it right there. There's the guy who's got it.
Yeah.
Get your negotiating skills going. See how much you can get.
What's a first home run ball worth these days, do you think?
I would say a signed ball at some point, but a team signed ball and maybe a bat. Does that sound like good enough for you?
A uniform, maybe?
Oh, maybe a uniform top of your choice.
I don't know. I guess it depends how good, how skilled a negotiator you are.
That's right.
Some guys might just want a couple of tickets to a future game. 3-1 to Herrera, who fouled out his first time up.
The problem is that you're taken out of the game to stop watching the comeback.
That would be, if I were the fan.
Yeah, I'd wait till the inning's over.
Or the game.
Yeah.
In the air, deep left field, off the bat of Herrera, headed toward the wall, and that's out of here. Dawson Herrera with his second home run of the year. The Mets have gone deep twice in the 4th inning. It's now 8-5 Atlanta. What kind of game have we got here?
Get the hydraulics going.
Well, Herrera, 3-1 pitch. We know he's got power for a little guy, and he showed it off there. 3 home runs last year in a late season trial, and 2 more now this season.
Well, it's a nice warm day here at Citi Field. If you get it up in the air and center it, And that's just a fastball down the middle. Seen a lot of pitches down the middle this afternoon, and Herrera didn't miss it. He might be short of stature and he might be a little guy, but you see him in the clubhouse, he's built like a light heavyweight.
Now John Mayberry will bat for Alex Torres, and he takes a slider for a strike.
Maybe a middleweight.
Well, Siciliani and Herrera had one home run between them this year. They have home runs in this inning each. Simmons charging. High throw, but not high enough. And that's the second out. So Mayberry retired. Interesting, the Mets would use a position player pinch hitter there. They only have a 4-man bench today. You've got guys in the dugout like DeGrom and Syndergaard who could pinch hit in the 4th inning of the game. I'm surprised that one of them wasn't used there.
Yeah, I would have definitely saved Mayberry. The reason I would have saved him is for Avilan later, for an at-bat if it becomes critical. It's almost, I'm not saying a throwaway at-bat. It's not. Never a throwaway at-bat.
But when you have a 4-man bench and no left-hand hitters on the bench.
And 2 outs.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, your chance of a rally are. The only thing that can happen there is Mayberry hits the ball to the ballpark, which is not as hard to do as most days.
Well, apparently not. Randerson's already 2 for 2 today. Both hits to right and right center. He scored a run. And he goes down on the fastball to end the inning. But the Mets get closer again. Daryl Siciliani hits his first big league home run into the Pepsi porch. And Dilson Herrera goes deep as well. We head to the 5th inning. A hitter's day. It's 8-5 Atlanta. They learn from their fathers and how it impacts them today on Mets Insider, presented by WB Mason. Today after the postgame, only on SNY. We're a week away from Father's Day. Let's answer our Verizon trivia question. Who led the Mets in saves in '86?
I think it's going to be Roger because he's here, but maybe it's J.O.
It was Roger McDowell with the, and you had it dead on, 22 saves to go with 14 wins. Sean Gilmartin will get the assignment here in the 5th inning.
Well, this is a big opportunity for Gilmartin. Throw up a couple of scoreless innings with the way the Mets are hitting the baseball. You have a chance to get a comeback here.
Christian Bethancourt will lead off against him, and he takes a big cut and fouls it off d'Arnaud. 0-1. Where'd that catch, Travis?
It's funny, he got up and was going to go chase the ball. Right off his right foot. Even though you have that plastic padding there, it's still smarts. Big time. thanks Gary Cederstrom for going out and giving him a few seconds.
Bethancourt is 1 for 2. Singled and scored in the second inning. And a good changeup by Gilmartin. 0-2 to Bethancourt. Braves have scored in each of the first 4 innings. They got a run in the first, 3 in the second on Jace Peterson's three-run homer, a run in the third, and then they tacked on 3 after 2 were out in the fourth. And those 3 are the difference right now. Gilmartin goes right back to the changeup to strike out Bethancourt for the first out.
I've said this a couple times. I am so pleasantly surprised that Gilmartin can go from being a starter to a reliever and still come in the game every time and be able to use all 4 of his pitches. Good change up there.
I'd have to say, for a Rule 5 guy, that the Mets have gotten far more out of Sean Gilmartin than they ever could have anticipated.
Big time.
Here's Fultonavich, who right now is just thinking of trying to stagger through the 5th inning to qualify for a win. It has certainly not been a banner day for Mr. Fultonavich, but he's got himself a 3-run lead. And he pokes one to the right side for Herrera. And Gilmartin quickly has 2 outs.
Yeah, Fultonavich has got a little rope-a-dope thing working here so far.
I mean, do pitchers think that way? I got to get through 5 with the lead.
Well, when you're having a day like you're having today, Fultonavich is saying, okay, I'm off my game. 3 more outs. And then we'll work after that. Give me 3 more outs. And if I get through it quickly, then maybe I can go deeper in the game.
So that's Fultonavich's mindset. What's Jace Peterson's mindset? He's going to have at least a couple of at-bats to try for the triple to get him a cycle. Singled in the first, homered in the second, doubled in the fourth. And takes a slider for a strike from Gilmartin.
It'll be a little more difficult against the left-hander Gilmartin, but Peterson's been impressive. We've seen some second basemen that have been impressive in the last 2 weeks or so.
Fly ball hit to right, and Granderson is there. So Gilmartin comes in and stops the noise. 1-2-3 inning. Halfway through, 8-5 Atlanta. Every year. This Flag Day to celebrate Old Glory, and she's a grand old flag. She's a high flying flag. Juan Lagares leads off the home 5th against Mike Fultonavich, who has been shaky but has an 8-5 lead. Lagares singled to center in the first and into a fielder's choice in the third, 1 for 2. Here is the People's United Bank Today starters, and avert your eyes. Not a particularly successful day for either one. Bouncer for Simmons. And he throws out Lagares by a stride, one away.
He makes it look so easy. It's almost not fair watching him play. Stroll in the park for Mr. Simmons, playing defense.
So now Lucas Duda. Duda singled and scored a run in the third. He's also lined out 1 for 2. So you know the Toronto Blue Jays are coming in here tomorrow. They've won 10 games in a row. They're playing in Boston today. You know how they had a great start from their second baseman, young Devin Travis, and then he got hurt. Ryan Goins is filling in for him. Just hit a 3-run homer. Everybody on that team hits home runs. 6-0 in the fourth. I mean, that is a very tall task ahead of the Mets the next 4 days. I mean, Josh Donaldson is having an MVP type season.
It really is. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of scouting report combination game plan the Mets have against the talented Blue Jays. You're going to have to pitch them inside. You have to jam those guys because the extension, they can all hit the ball out of the ballpark the other way.
Here's the interesting part about the way that series begins tomorrow. 1-2 to Duda, and he lines one the other way, a base hit. So Duda, who had 2 doubles yesterday, has his second hit in this game, so that day off certainly appears to have done him some good. And the Mets have their 9th hit against Mike Foltynewicz, and Freddie Gonzalez is on his way out to the mound, and that's going to be all for Foltynewicz.
Good inside out swing there by Lucas Duda.
So Foltynewicz does not get his 5 innings required to secure a victory, and the Braves will have to go to their troubled bullpen early. Mets trying to rally down 8-5 in the 5th. Pitching change for the Braves. We'll be right back. Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of the New York Mets. By Infinity, visit your tri-state area Infinity retailer for a test drive today. And by Cure Auto, 25 years of saving you money. Cure Auto Insurance, drive well. Well, Freddie Gonzalez does what he has found difficult to do. He goes to his bullpen. As we give you Banner Day highlights from days of yore. Brandon Kniff comes in and throws a first pitch strike to Travis d'Arnaud.
Well, Kniff has had a few days off, 3 days off, but his last outing against San Diego, he got the loss when he gave up a couple of runs.
You see, he's been very effective against right-hand hitters, not at all against lefties. He got D'Arnaud and Flores, two right-hand hitters up here. And D'Arnaud lays off, and it's 1-1.
I haven't seen that in a while, but Freddie Gonzalez, that's the first time in a while that the manager just got sick of watching his starting pitcher. It's like, I can't watch it anymore.
Well, Freddie used
moving on.
He used 6 relievers yesterday, and now he's going to require, 14 outs from his bullpen if he wants to win this game? D'Arnaud down the line, headed toward the corner. That ball is out of here! Travis d'Arnaud greets Kniff with a 2-run homer. It's now 8-7 Atlanta. The Mets' 3rd home run of the last 8 batters. D'Arnaud's 3rd of the year, and the Mets are back to within a skinny run.
What a game. Bring it on. Kniff tried to come inside on d'Arnaud. He had missed a few pitches from Fultonevich, but did not miss this one. Down the line. He's a gap-to-gap hitter. He pulls it, though, it'll be out.
Now Wilmer Flores. And he takes a strike from Kniff.
I mean, that contact down. Pitch was a pretty good pitch down and inside, but so quick was d'Arnaud.
The run spigot is open today, and they're flowing like water. Each team has scored in 4 different innings. Mets have hit 3 home runs today.
The spigot was closed until d'Arnaud got back on that lineup, to tell you the truth.
Seems that way, right? Flores lays off the slider from Kniff, 2-1. Wilmer had a 2-run single in the 3rd inning. Then was thrown out trying to get to second on the throw home. So Fultonevich can neither win nor lose, but his day was an ugly one. He goes 4 1/3, allows 6 runs, 5 earned, 9 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 2 home runs, 74 pitches, and a day to forget for the Braves rookie right-hander. And both teams now in their bullpen. Well, d'Arnaud's first home run since coming back from the disabled list, but we said it a few times in the last few days. He really hit the ground running. It took him about half a game to shake the rust off. And now he's been swinging the bat as well as anybody on the team. Flores takes it low, ball 4. And now the Mets have the tying run aboard. So Kniff, who specializes in getting the righties out, faces 2 righties, gives up a home run and a walk. And now he's got to face the lefty, Siciliani, who hit his first big league home run his last time up. Braves bullpen has been the worst in the National League this year. And they're going to have to find a way to patch together the rest of this game, as are the Mets. And Siciliani takes a slider outside for ball 1. Well, this is a Coors timeless moment. First big league home run for Daryl Siciliani, brought to you by Coors Banquet. First of 3 home runs the Mets have hit in the last 2 innings.
He was lucky. Usually they freeze out the rookie when he hits his first home run. No high fives at all.
Ruben Tejada waits on deck. Mets now with 7 runs and 10 hits. The Braves 8 runs and 12 hits. And Kniff now behind 3-0. Well, it looks like the guy who caught Siciliani's home run ball traded it for a bat.
But he missed Herrera's home run. He was walking out when Herrera hit it out.
He heard the crack of the bat. There's a strike, 3-1.
Caught it on the TV, says he was walking probably.
Might have heard us talking about it on the replay.
There you go. Said turn that volume down.
Might have heard Josh's call on the radio.
There you go.
There are lots of ways to find out. 3-1 coming. And there's ball 4. So back-to-back walks. And now the Mets have the tying run at second. The go-ahead run at first with 1 out. So Kniff has provided no relief. And now Ruben Tejada will come up with 2 men on.
Well, if you have a young, aspiring pitcher in your house at home, shut the TV off and go outside and barbecue.
Or bring him to the ballpark. The Braves might want to sign him right now. Roger McDowell's going to wear out all the grass between the third base dugout and the mound this afternoon.
He's dealing with a lot of young arms also. Young arms. They've signed some veteran arms. And Eveland and Ardsma just trying somehow to find an answer. Their offense has been much more than they thought it would be this year.
That's the reason they've been able to hang around, just 2 games under 500, 2.5 games out of first place. The starting pitching has been good and bad, and the bullpen has been almost uniformly awful.
Well, interesting, Jace Peterson with the words as he left, kind of the leadership words to his pitcher.
I think that's what they're going to expect of him down the road. So Kniff has faced 3 batters, home run, walk, and now Tejada, who's 1 for 2, doubled back in the second. Flores at second, Siciliani at first, and 1 out. And Tejada takes a fastball for a strike. It's at one-time trailed this game 8-3. It's now 8-7. Kniff, 26 years old, first signed by the Marlins. They released him. Braves picked him up. And he made his major league debut this season. Backhanded by Betancourt. 1-1. Brandon Kniff from Cal State San Bernardino, which has only produced a handful of major leaguers. Shane Costa went to Cal State San Bernardino. It's the best I can do.
Yeah, no, take the 10 East. As soon as it gets over 100, you're in San Bernardino.
Is that before or after you get to Indio?
No, that's before Indio.
Because I think of Indio as kind of the end of the line.
Yes.
Up there in the desert. Two and one to Tejada. And Rubin fouls back the fastball. He had a good rip at that. 2-2. Rubin just back from 3 days paternity leave after his fiancee Smarlin gave birth to a daughter, Smarjorie. I'll make sure I get that.
Very
right.
good.
It's a hard one to remember.
I'm not going there.
And Tejada down on strikes for the second out. So Kniff finally gets an out.
Well, you can see in that at bat that he's got a great arm, Kniff. Just pitching behind in the count. No chance for any pitcher. But good, hard fastball in the outside corner.
So now 2 out and 2 on for Dilson Herrera, who crushed a home run his last time up, his second of the year. Herrera now 4 for 9 with a double and a home run in this series. And if you're Brandon Kniff, as you look at these numbers for the bullpen, which have just been dreadful all year, you have to take note of the fact the Mets have Sean Gilmartin on deck and nobody up in the bullpen. So he does not have to throw a strike to Dilson Herrera.
That's why he's going with the slider. 2 good ones there by Kniff.
And now the Mets do get somebody up in the bullpen, but
probably just for show.
Yeah. But now Kniff has an 0-2 advantage. Jack Leathersich just starting to think about loosening up. And Herrera lays off the high slider, 1-2.
It's one of those where you tell the left-hander, okay, get up and throw, pretend to throw like you're going to come in the game. The only problem, though, is that if you load the bases.
Well, that would give him time to get loose for real. And a fastball strike 3 called, and Herrera was had. So Kniff bounces back with back-to-back strikeouts to at least keep the Braves in the lead. But the Mets, who were down 8-3 with 3 home runs, the latest by Travis d'Arnaud, as he gulfs one out to left. And it's now an 8-7 Atlanta lead after 5. Sixth inning, Cameron Maybin, first pitch swinging. Fouls off Sean Gilmartin's fastball. Well, this has become an extremely interesting game. Mets have hit 3 home runs to get back in it. Sean Gilmartin has finally restored some peace by pitching a 1-2-3 fifth. Now facing 2, 3, and 4 in the Atlanta batting order. And the changeup fouled off by Maybin, who's 0 for 3 today. 2 strikeouts and a fly ball. So Gilmartin has to fulfill the role of the classic long man here.
Get himself a win if he can hold these Braves down. Maybin's been the only one that hasn't gotten into the offensive mode today.
Freddie Freeman on deck, then Nick Markakis. And Maybin got a piece. Still 0-2. Dylan G went 3 2/3, allowed 7 runs and 11 hits, or 8 runs and 11 hits. See, I'm losing track now. Haven't had a lot of games like this over the last few years. And the breaking ball got him. Maybin has struck out. Second strikeout for Gilmartin, who's retired 4 in a row. Let's check in with the studio. Eamon McEnany has a game break brought to you by Honda. Not good news for the Marlins for sure. Freddie Freeman takes outside for ball 1. Freddie's 1 for 2 today. Had a base hit to drive in the first run of this game in the opening inning. He's lined to left and been intentionally walked since. Now facing the left-hander Gilmartin, and he takes a strike. 1-1.
13 pitches, 10 strikes so far by Mr. Gilmartin.
Well, nobody else who's gone to the mound so far today has looked nearly as good as Sean Gilmartin.
There's the thing that guys in the bullpen will say, this is a heck of a day not to get out there. I mean, like, it seems everyone that goes out is going to get roughed up.
Well, the other thing about Gilmartin is, remember, he was originally drafted in the first round by the Braves. So every time he faces Atlanta, he's got a little extra adrenaline going. And he gets even on Freeman 2-2. First round pick in 2011 by Atlanta out of Florida State. He was traded to the Twins for Ryan Doumit. Mets got him from Minnesota in the Rule 5 draft. Pulled down to first, and Duda handles it easily. And that's 5 up and 5 down for Gilmartin. And I was going to mention this earlier. I never quite got to it. The Mets play the Blue Jays tomorrow, and who starts the opening game of the series for the Mets?
Noah Syndergaard.
Noah Syndergaard.
There you go.
Who, of course, was acquired from the Blue Jays along with Travis d'Arnaud in the R.A. Dickey trade.
Luis Avilan up in the bullpen for the Braves. Syndergaard will be throwing 100 in the first inning tomorrow.
Now, the plan is to catch Plawecki tomorrow, but you'd think it would be much more apropos if d'Arnaud got the start, right? The all-ex Blue Jay prospect battery.
Well, what I found interesting is that, you know, a lot of times when you have the press conferences before the game, reporters want to ask questions about the next day game for the manager. And they asked today about a question about Noah Syndergaard going up against the Blue Jays will be extra incentive. Terry Collins was like, well, why? He goes, well, he was originally drafted by Toronto. He goes, haven't even thought about tomorrow. I'm thinking about today. But yes, I'm sure he'll have extra incentive.
Let's go up against the lefty Mark Burley tomorrow, which means don't blink. Fastest worker in baseball over the last dozen years or so. Juan Uribe would be next.
Getaway day dream for announcers. Mark Burley.
Pitching the wrong day.
That's right.
Should be going Tuesday when you got a late night flight to Toronto. 0-2 to Markakis, who's 2 for 3 today. And he takes the fastball just off the plate. 1-2. And Sean Gilmartin wearing Jerry Kuzman's number. It's a perfect number for a left-hander.
Classic case of not a thrower, a pitcher, a guy who moves the ball in and out, changes speeds. so many different ways to get outs in the major leagues, and Gilmartin does it differently than most of the pitchers on the Mets staff who throw 95 plus.
Two-two to Markakis, and he misses low and inside with the changeup. Full count. Well, that's the reason why a guy who is a first-round pick winds up getting let go by two different organizations. Why the Twins wouldn't have put him on the 40-man roster, which is what made him available this past winter. But clearly, he's got a lot of pitching talent.
These are the pitchers that end up spending a career in AAA because they don't throw 95 plus.
But, you know, the Mets, I think, have done a great job making sure he gets enough work, but not putting him in many high leverage situations.
And clean innings, Gary, starting the innings as opposed to coming in the middle of innings.
And as a result, he has really prospered. And, you know, the deal with Rule 5 is you have to keep him on the big league roster all year or offer him back. So you can't send him down. And there's ball four. So Markakis, the first base runner against Gilmartin after he had him 0-2. So Markakis on base for the third time today. That's the first unintentional walk by a Met pitcher today. And now Uribe will bat with 2 out and a runner at first.
This is the guy that when I was looking at the matchups once Gilmartin came in the game, Uribe is the guy you have to watch out for. He loves throwing that changeup. Uribe is a good breaking ball hitter.
Uribe 2 for 3 today. And an infield hit to drive and a run his last time up. That was the last batter Dylan G faced. Uribe has done well since joining the Braves. This is his 17th game since coming over in the trade from the Dodgers. Both teams already in double figures in hits in this game. Braves have 12 hits. The Mets have 10. And Uribe takes a wild swing at a changeup, and it's 1-1.
Fastball for a ball, changeup up, but on the corner. There's no rhyme or reason to Uribe's swing. He's just trying to do one thing: hit it as hard as he can.
It's a big swing. It's a big swing.
He was on that 2005 Chicago White Sox team. He was on the San Francisco Giant team that won.
He's been a ring magnet, no question about it. Gilmartin ahead 1-2. And he gets it with a breaking ball. So Gilmartin with a very impressive 2 innings of relief. His third strikeout. That's down a run as they come to bat at the bottom of the 6th. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you today. A little different view of the game. This is where I grew up watching games here at Shea Stadium for years, all the way at the top of the upper deck. Those $1.30 general admission seats. Watching you guys down on the field.
Marcus, got a couple hot dogs for us? Thank you. What do you charge? How much are they a piece?
Are you buying, Keith?
$5. That's outrageous. That's highway robbery.
Did you make sure you tip the man?
Make it 3, please.
Strikes me we looked a lot younger 7 years ago.
Well, I was saying I haven't seen myself with black hair in a long time.
That was an awful lot of fun. It's always nice when we leave the booth and sit in other places. Luis Avilan comes in, pitch the bottom of the 6th. Michael Kadire will pinch hit for New York. And he hits the first pitch in the air to center. Maben coming on. And it drops for a base hit. Maben completely misjudged that ball. He froze on it. And then had no choice but to let it drop. And Kadire's got himself a surprise pinch hit.
Well, good pitch by Avilan. That's why it fooled, I think, Maben in center field. Thought it was hitting much better than it was. Puts the glove up to fake I don't know who. Kadire's going to run no matter what.
So Kadire has himself a pinch hit single. Mets have the tying run at first and nobody out. And Curtis Granderson is 2 for 3, and he fouls back the first pitch fastball. So Avilan, the third Atlanta pitcher of the afternoon, pitched a 1-2-3 inning yesterday. Brandon Caniff had a star-crossed effort. 2/3 of an inning, he filled out the stat line. He gave up a hit, a run, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, a home run.
That's good in the NBA, not here.
Except for that turnover column.
That's right.
1-1 to Granderson. Juan Lagares waiting on deck. It's been a wild afternoon. Each team has scored in 4 different innings. Mets have hit 3 home runs. They were down 5 runs at one point. And Granderson pulls one through the hole, a base hit. Kadire to second. He'll stop there. So the Mets have the first 2 men on against Avilan. Third hit of the afternoon for Curtis Granderson.
Again, another ball on the outer part of the plate and pulled. It's almost like Curtis has recognized that these teams are not playing him in a shift. They're not playing him in the shift. Pull is good.
So now Lagares, who is 1 for 3 on the day, singled back in the first inning. Uribe comes in on the grass at third as though he is anticipating a bunt. Can't imagine that Lagares is bunting here. It's only the 6th inning. It's been a game where there have been tons of runs scored. And he's swinging and fouls it off.
I mean, you're looking at 10. You got to get the 10, I think, in this game to feel.
Well, Freeman and Uribe look like they're both staying in. Meanwhile, Bethancourt's going to go out and talk to Avilan. By the way, it's now 10-0 Toronto in Boston.
I just took a peek at it.
They score 10 runs every day.
So now 85-35, they've outscored opponents in 11 games.
Danny Valencia hit a home run. I mean, really, everybody on that team hits home runs. Fouled away. It's almost as though the Mets are prepping for the Blue Jays by having one of these.
That's right.
Boxcar
Get
games
used to
today.
it. Yeah, right. I mean, Bautista, Encarnacion, Donaldson.
How about
Martin?
Chris Colabello hitting?
Colabello with the Twins last year, spent his life playing in Worcester, Mass, in independent baseball.
0-2 from Avilan, and it's way high. Lucas Duda waiting on deck. Nobody throwing in the Atlanta bullpen. This inning is on Avilan as Freddie Gonzalez tries to hang on to a skinny lead with this beleaguered bullpen. Each team now with 12 hits. And Lagares hits the curveball deep to left, down the line, toward the corner. It's out of here! Juan Lagares with a 3-run home Mets' 4th home run in the last 3 innings. And after trailing by 5 runs, the Mets now lead 10-8.
I don't know if I've ever seen the Mets bench as raucous and loud as it is right now. I told you had to get to 10 at some point.
May not be enough. 3rd home run of the year for Lagares. And so the Mets in front for the first time today. Now Duda. And he takes a strike.
Well, it's a breaking ball down and in. He wanted to bury it in the dirt, and he did not. And great job by Lagares. We've seen that by a couple Mets hitters, Herrera, d'Arnaud, and Lagares now keeping it fair on that inside part of the plate.
Very similar spots for all 3 of those home runs.
Beautiful swing there by Lagares. Holds on to the bat to keep it fair. And tough a lead in the world in low 5s.
That's equal their season high with 4 home runs. Second time they've done it in a week. They did it last Sunday against the Diamondbacks. And Duda down on 3 pitches for the first out of the inning. Siciliani, Herrera, d'Arnaud, and now Lagares all going deep in the last 3 innings for New York. Mets were down 8-3. They've now scored 7 unanswered runs. Matt Harvey approves. Now d'Arnaud, who greeted Brandon Caniff with a 2-run homer his last time up. Travis 1 for 2 today. He's also drawn a walk. He scored 2 runs. 3rd time this year the Mets have hit 4 home runs. They did it against the Phillies in late May. They did it against the Diamondbacks last Sunday, and they do it again on Flag Day.
I mean, every single hitter on both sides are just taking hellacious swings up at the plate.
Oh, 2 from Avilan, and he misses away. Wilmer Flores, the on-deck batter. Every one of the first 8 starters in the Mets lineup has at least a hit today. This afternoon started so poorly for the Mets. Freddie Freeman with a base hit to drive in a run in the first inning, and Jace Peterson had a home run in the second. Dylan G just had a dreadful start, down 5-1, then 8-3. But the Mets have used power to come back. And meanwhile, if the Mets win this game, the unsung hero, that's very nice, Nelson. Rally Cups.
Why not?
If the Mets come back and win this game, unsung hero is going to be Sean Gilmartin,
yes,
who just gave them 2 hitless innings in relief to calm everything down when every other pitcher was failing. Two to d'Arnaud, and the breaking ball fouled back.
And one of the best no decisions you'll see in some time for Dylan this afternoon.
He has escaped the hook. I don't think he'll feel much better about the way things went for him today. Bobby Parnell, next man up in the Mets bullpen. Gilmartin leaving for a pinch hitter. Kadire got a pinch hit and scored on Lagares' home run. Back to Avilan, and he retires d'Arnaud for the second out. Well, Sean Gilmartin, he has been little talked about, lightly used, but whenever the Mets have called upon him, he has been there and pitched effectively. And today might well have been his coming out party, when the Mets certainly needed him most. Now the question is, how do you get 9 more outs in this crazy game? Here's Flores, 2-run single in the 30s, 1 for 2 and a walk today. And a good changeup by Avilan, 0-1. So Avilan gave up 2 hits and a 3-run homer, and all of a sudden his stuff has come into gear. Getting strikes with his curveball and his changeup.
Well, the first hit was off the end of the bat, maybe even a broken bat. The second hit by Granderson is kind of a ground ball in the hole, no shift. So sometimes those hitters don't allow you to warm up, loosen up, get away with any pitches.
When Avilan first came up to the Braves, he was money.
Yeah.
But of course, at the time, he was a spare part because they had the two other lefties, Venters and O'Flaherty. And then when Venters got hurt, Avilan took his spot. And then when O'Flaherty got hurt, he moved up the food chain and became the #1 lefty.
Well, it doesn't hurt either when you had Mr. Automatic at the back end of that bullpen, right? Craig Kimbrell.
The last two guys in the bullpen, the 8th and 9th inning guys for the Braves, have been okay. They haven't been great, but Jim Johnson and Jason Grilli have been okay. But the problem has been in the middle of the game. We've seen that today. 1-2 coming, and Flores able to waste it away. This game may end up with more hits than batters today.
Wow. I mean, I've never seen quite a line like that through 6 innings. Well, not even through 6.
Braves 8 runs, 12 hits. Mets 10 runs and 13 hits. And we're not close to being done. 1-2 from Avilan. And he chases a high fastball. Flores is struck out. Inning over. But the Mets grab the lead in the bottom of the 6th. Michael Kadire getting it started with a pinch hit single. Curtis Granderson pulling one through the hole, his 3rd hit of the day. And then Lagares unloads his 3rd home run, produces 3 in a 10-8 Met lead. Mets have scored in 5 of the 6 innings. They've hit 4 home runs in the last 3 innings, and they've come from 5 runs down to lead the Braves 10-8 as we go to the 7th.
Well, Sean Gilmartin slowed down that Atlanta train, and Bobby Parnell on back-to-back days now is going to try to have a clean inning.
Bobby last night or yesterday afternoon, I'm not sure whether the sun had set yet, pitched in his first game in 14 months coming back from Tommy John surgery. He said it gave him chills just to be out there on the mound. Gave up a soft single to Johnny Gomes and then retired A.J. Przinsky on a ground ball to get his feet wet in just his 2nd big league appearance in 22.5 months. Kelly Johnson's had a big day already. 2 singles and a double, 3 for 3, a run scored and 2 RBIs. And Parnell, first pitch fastball at 89 miles an hour. He was throwing 91-92 yesterday in his first appearance. Got it up to 94 once. And he falls behind Johnson 2-0. Former Met David Aardsma is now up in the Atlanta bullpen. Pitcher spot due up fourth in the inning. Kelly Johnson, Andrelton Simmons, Christian Betancourt before that. And 3-0. There was a theory of some in the organization that once Parnell got into the big ballpark with the adrenaline flowing, that all of a sudden he would have more velocity. Haven't seen it yet. And he misses outside, ball 4. So Parnell issues a leadoff walk. Johnson's on base for the 4th time. And now the tying run will come to bat. Tomorrow night, the Blue Jays are in. 2 games here, 2 games in Toronto. First game tomorrow night with Noah Syndergaard on the mound. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock. And for more on the Blue Jays, we check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
As you guys have mentioned a lot, the offense clearly the story for this Blue Jays team. 10-game winning streak. They've averaged 7.5 runs per game during that stretch. Here's the thing, though. They were scoring runs all season long, but prior to this stretch of games, they were 7 games under 500. That's because the pitching was about as bad as the hitting was good. These last 10 games, the starters have turned it around, and specifically the bullpen has turned it around. The Blue Jays are the only team in baseball with more blown saves than actual saves. Over these last 10 games, though, they've gotten it together a little better. 2.20 ERA yesterday, 5 innings of scoreless ball.
Simmons hits one in the air to left center field, angling over Lagares, and he gets there to make the catch for the first down. Well, you know, the Blue Jays had a stretch of 18 straight wins where they didn't have a save. Now, part of that is because they were blowing people out, but part of it is that their bullpen was struggling.
Well, they had started the season with 6 rookies on their roster. One of them, their closer. They lost him and now have been going to Brent Cecil, who has been doing the job of late.
And there have been a lot of reports over the last few days about the Blue Jays being in the market for relief pitchers. Jonathan Papelbon's name has been mentioned. Tyler Clippard's name has been mentioned. So they are certainly in the market for relief pitching. The other thing that happened to Toronto right on the eve of the season was they lost Marcus Stroman, who had such a great rookie year last year and blew out his knee and was out for the season, and they had to readjust on the fly from that. Christian Betancourt is the batter. And now they've got an issue with Aaron Sanchez, who, remember, they moved from the bullpen to the rotation. He's already missed a start with some soreness. He's supposed to pitch against the Mets Tuesday night and may or may not be able to take that start.
Well, last year they did a classic thing with Aaron Sanchez, who was one of their bright young stars.
Betancourt trying to bunt for a hit and fouls it off.
To limit his innings last year, they put him in the bullpen when they brought him to the big leagues. So they kept his innings down. He pitched out of the bullpen 1 inning at a time and then put in that rotation this year. There's American League East. Everyone with a winning record except the Red Sox.
And all those teams have been hot. The Yankees have lost 3 in a row, but they had a 7-game winning streak right before that. Tampa Bay's won 10 of 14. Betancourt breaks his bat. Flores with the flip. Herrera with the turn. In time. Double play. Side retired. Parnell gets the 6-4-3 double play to get through the top of the 7th. Mets have gotten 3 hitless innings out of their bullpen. 7th inning stretch time at Citi Field. 10-8 New York.
They've started more banner days than any athletic event that's in the United States. They start in their own neighborhood. Then they start in another neighborhood. Then they make sayings about the ball players. Some of the sayings are outstanding.
The greatest fan-generated promotion in Major League history, Banner Day. When the Mets started the Polo Grounds, the fans just spontaneously started bringing bedsheet banners to honor their new ball club. Casey Stengel nurtured it. It turned into a yearly event. And traditionally, Banner Day was held between games of a doubleheader at Shea.
Well, I was telling you before the games that I loved, in between games, loved to watch the banners go by.
Tonight on Jets Nation, Muhammad Wilkerson is back, but how close are he and the Jets to inking a new deal? Plus, hear from Calvin Pryor how he intends to prove his critics wrong this year on the field. On an all-new Jets Nation tonight at 7, only on SNY. SNY's Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. David Arnsma, the former Met, makes his second appearance in the series.
Well, 3 games so far. Arnsma, who had went down to AAA, was pitching well, had an opt-out in his contract, did opt out, and signed here with the Braves.
He was with the Dodgers organization before opting out and signing with Atlanta. Daryl Siciliani's had another fine day. Hit his first big league home run in the 4th, walked his last time up, and he takes a strike from Arnsma. Arnsma pitched on Friday night, faced 3 batters, gave up a long fly ball to Lagares that was caught, and then a run-scoring double to Michael Kadire. That was the insurance run in the Mets' 2-run win on Friday night. And Siciliani hits one out to right field. This one's playable. And Markakis reels it in for the first out. It's not going to go out every time. So 1 out and nobody on. He looked genuinely disappointed.
Yes. Citi Field got him.
So 1 out now. Ruben Tejada, who's 1 for 3 on the day, doubled his first time up in the 2nd. The Atlanta started today. Mike Fultonevich was granted a 5-run lead and could not make prosperity from it. Lasted just 4 1/3 innings. Gave up 6 runs, 5 earned on 9 hits. Brandon Caniff gave up a home run to the first man he faced. He went 2/3 of an inning. Luis Avilan worked an inning. He gave up a 3-run homer to Juan Lagares. So Arnsma hoping to become the first Atlanta pitcher to have himself a successful day. Nothing and 2 to Tejada. Arnsma did some fine work for the Mets. They certainly used him often 2 years ago when he pitched for New York. Tejada tries to hold, and he stopped it in time. Eric Cooper with the call.
Well, as announcers, we get to know some of these young men better than others, and couldn't get a better guy than David Arnsma. One of those guys that when he pitched well was humble about it. When he didn't pitch well, he kind of owned it.
He's now pitched with 8 major league teams. Out to center field, and Maben doesn't have to move, and that's the second out. I mean, 8 major league teams, and he's only been in, this is his 302nd game, so do the math.
Yeah.
He hasn't lasted anywhere very long. Giants, Cubs, White Sox, Red Sox, Mariners, Yankees, Mets, Braves.
Mariners his best years?
He was in 73 games with Seattle, in 09. That was definitely his best season. And, you know, what was he here for 2/3 of a season with the Mets? He was in 43 games. So they certainly used him. And he had all sorts of injury problems in the interim. He didn't pitch at all in the big leagues in 11, only 1 game in 12 with the Yankees before he got hurt again. Dilson Herrera has a home run today and 3 at-bats.
I tell you folks at home this stuff all the time. I just really appreciate the guys that you gotta kind of rip the uniform off. They just want to play as long as they can.
How about the other ex-Met in that Atlanta bullpen, Danny Evelyn? He went to Korea to pitch before he got back to the big leagues. Here's a strike, 2-1. Eric Campbell's out on deck. He'll pinch hit if Herrera keeps the inning going.
I think most folks just think about the stress it must put on a ball player to move around that many times, but I think you forget sometimes most of them have families and children, and they have to move around with them.
3-1 coming, and there's ball 4, so Herrera's on with a 2-out walk. 4th walk given up by Atlanta pitching today, and Eric Campbell will get a chance as a pinch hitter.
Almost kind of out of bench here, right?
Well, the only man left behind Campbell is Kevin Plawecki, the backup catcher,
which you wouldn't use unless you had to.
If you missed it earlier today, the Mets had to make a couple of roster moves to make room for Ruben Tejada and Dylan G. They sent Danny Muno down. That wasn't a surprise. What was that they sent Anthony Record down. There goes Herrera, the pitch high. Betancourt's throwing a hop. The tag not in time. Peterson tried to reach up for the ball and then down with the tag, but couldn't do it in time to get Herrera, who has his first steal of the year.
Well, the one thing we've seen from this game is how strong the arm is of Betancourt. Except he bounces this one, and it brings the glove hand up of Peterson. And by the time he brings it back down, Herrera's safe at second base with the steal. Close play, but I wouldn't review it.
So a runner in scoring position for Campbell.
Freddie Gonzalez calls off the jam. Watch his tag. His arm goes right under the chin of Herrera.
That is the first major league stolen base for Dilson Herrera. Didn't have one last year during his stint with the Mets, and now he is first. So a lot of firsts today. Siciliani's first home run, Herrera's first stolen base. Campbell takes a strike, 1-1. And Ardsman wants a conversation with Betancourt. Mr. Siciliani, who's had himself a big week, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
I mean, talk about solidifying yourself as a big leaguer. You don't get a chance to do that much as a bench player.
And now, you know what you have to do is that when you get your starts, your occasional starts, you got to make the most of them. So not only keeps you hot, but when you go down to the bench for a few days, you can still keep your good batting stroke.
Simmons handles the ground ball, throws out Campbell. And so Ardsmo with a hitless inning, and we go to the 8th. Hansel Robles getting ready. 10-8 New York. Torres, who got the 9th inning yesterday, is going to get the 8th inning today. With a little dancing help.
Yeah, there's a little dance cam in between innings, so the youngsters went for it. Nice. You know, in yesterday's ball game, really, not the downfall, but, you know, when you come into close game, you just can't walk the leadoff hitter. Robles knows that, and hopefully he can avert that today.
Well, today the Mets have Jerry's Familia here and available, and so they can set up their bullpen in a little more conventional fashion. Have to go to the bullpen early today with Dylan G knocked out in the 4th. Alex Torres got 1 out. Sean Gilmartin, the star, with 2 hitless innings. And Bobby Parnell in his 2nd appearance back from Tommy John surgery with a hitless 7th.
How about a little cold water down the back? That'll cool you down.
Feels good and bad at the same time.
Exactly.
A mixed blessing. Todd Cunningham is the pinch hitter. Batting for the pitcher. Cunningham has pinch hit in each of the first 2 games of this series. Hit a comebacker in yesterday's game. And he pops one up. Herrera taking charge. That's a major league pop-up. 1 out.
We say that all the time. You know what a major league pop-up is? How you define it? It even makes major leaguers nervous. That's why it's a major league pop-up.
You mean like a Luis Castillo pop-up?
There you go.
Make sure to stop in at a tri-state area McDonald's to pick up an exclusive ticket offer to see the Mets play at Citi Field throughout the summer. For Mets tickets, go online to Mets.com. There are certain moments from our 10 years together that I will always remember. Jace Peterson takes the ball. The one in Boston where Omir Santos hit the 2-run homer and Papelbon's reaction the next half inning, that one will live forever. And the one at Yankee Stadium where Alex Rodriguez hit the pop-up that Luis Castillo couldn't catch. I mean, only because of the reactions of you and Keith to both those events. When Papelbon popped out of the dugout and you guys both told him to sit down. And when Castillo let the pop-up drop and you slammed the table in a way that I had never seen you do before.
Well, what's interesting, I think the reason you like both of those is that Keith and I were like ex-players again. That's what happened.
Exactly.
So when Papelbon jumped out, we were like, go sit down, after giving up a 2-run home run. But the thing about Castillo that was different is that I was mad that he dropped it, but Keith knew that he was going to drop it before he dropped it.
Really?
Because I looked at Keith and went up and he went, like right before Castillo dropped it, you could see it in his face that he could tell Castillo was going to drop the pop-up.
Lagares gets over and pulls in Peterson's drive. So Peterson, who needed a triple for the cycle, denied that, and Robles has 2 quick outs. Well, the Mets bullpen has been exactly what they've needed it to be today. Alex Torres gave up a hit to the first man he faced, Kelly Johnson, and since then 4 hitless innings. Now Robles facing Cameron Maybin, who's trying to avoid the dreaded golden sombrero. 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts today for a guy who was a red-hot hitter coming into this game. If you're just joining us, you've missed plenty. Dylan G was routed in his spot start today, but the Mets fought back against the rookie right-hander Mike Fultonavich. Mets were down 8-3. They've hit 4 home runs and lead 10-8 in the 8th. And the fastball dents the outside corner at 97, and it's 0-2.
What a beautiful job. Here you see the line score, just crooked numbers all over the place. What a day.
But the Mets bullpen has taken control. And now Robles trying to finish off the top of the 8th. Bounces a slider, 1-2. Well, we talked at the beginning of this series about the Mets trying to get into the Atlanta bullpen. And even though the Mets fell well behind in this game, that has proven to be an advantage Mets, at least so far. 1-2 coming to Maben. Line to center field. Lagares will have to play it on the hop. And Maben has a 2-out hit, and that'll get Freddie Freeman to the plate as the tying run. So there's a big hit for Maben to put the Braves in a position they desire.
Good inside-out swing from Maben, something we didn't see before this year as Terry Collins comes out.
Well, Maben had a big hit against Robles yesterday, and now he has a hit against Robles here. And we're going to see J. Reese Familia come in to try and get a 4-out save. No messing around for the Mets today. They worked too hard to get this lead, and they're going to go to their lockdown closer to try and get 4 outs this afternoon. Familia coming in, 10-8 Mets in the 8th.
$18 out of 19 saves. I was just thinking you were thinking of the nickname DP. If he ever plays baseball, he can wear his dad's number 27 or 18 because that was the save his dad got on the night he was born.
Freddie Freeman, the batter, tying run at the plate in a 10-8 game, and he hits a ground ball toward the middle. Herrera with the diving stop, the glove flip. He got him! Oh, what a play! Dilson Herrera, side retired. As fine an infield play as we've seen a Met make this season. Dilson Herrera laying out for the glove flip. On target to Flores. And Maben clearly out at second base. Familia throws one pitch and gets a tremendous play made behind him by the 21-year-old second baseman. 10-8 Mets.
Well, it's as fine a play as you'll see, and the reason being is that he had the wherewithal to know that Maybin's running. He didn't have a chance to transfer that baseball and just flipped it with his glove.
The former Met Dana Evelyn in to pitch the bottom of the 8th.
He didn't care. Just get it in the vicinity and hope that Flores could scoop it up. And he did get that one hop.
And Wilmer able to stay on the bag, grab the hop, and get a huge out.
Well, there's Evelyn's numbers, only a couple of games. You know, just watching that play, there's so much that happens on a baseball diamond that sometimes goes unnoticed. But Lance Barksdale, umpire, has had a great series. Behind the plate, at third yesterday, had a tough call. To maneuver in the right position on that play, to see that play perfectly, was fun to watch, too. Everyone did their job.
Yes, they did. 3-hit day for Curtis Granderson already. And he grounds one foul. Evelyn came in yesterday's game, faced one batter, and Lucas Duda dropped a double into right center to drive in a run. Dana did a terrific job for the Mets last year. Lagares, who had the go-ahead 3-run homer in the 6th inning, on deck, and then Duda as the Mets looked to tack on here in the 8th before handing it back to Familia. And the breaking ball gets Granderson swinging, and that's the first out of the home 8th.
Dana's season was cut short last year, wasn't it? The Mets sent him home.
Yeah, he had an elbow issue.
Elbow issues. Good slider here, though. Late breaker on the outside part.
So now Lagares, who drilled a 3-run homer down the left field line, his 3rd of the year, that brought the Mets back from a 5-run deficit. Coming up tonight, Geico Sports Night at 10:30. Everything from around baseball and football and the NBA Finals. 10:30 tonight, only on SNY. And that's lined into left center. A base hit for Lagares, his 3rd hit of the game. And he's going to try for 2. Maybin's throw to second base is not in time. Lagares turning it into 5th gear coming around first base. A hustle double for Lagares.
Well, first, the hitting has been spot on for Lagares this afternoon. Right on this high fastball as he gets on top of it. And it's so much fun to watch him when the ball's in the gap. Knows there's 2 outs. Good time to take a chance. And he puts that head down and gets a double.
Well, you got to know your outfielders, too. And Maybin is a guy who sometimes a little tentative out there in center field. He backed up as he played that ball in the gap, and Lagares, as a center fielder, knew exactly what he could do.
So much fun for me to watch Lagares run. To me, he reminds me of a college kid who was a fullback at some point when he puts that head down.
Lucas Duda 2 for 4 today, 2 singles, 2 runs scored. Mets now have 14 hits on the day. And a slider from Evelyn in for a strike, 0-2.
I improperly said 2 outs. Good time to take that chance, of course. Only 1 out here.
Travis d'Arnaud on deck. Nobody up in the bullpen for Atlanta. This is Evelyn's inning. And he strikes out Duda on 3 pitches. So 2 strikeouts surrounding the Lagares double. And now d'Arnaud will come to bat against the left-hander.
Again, Evelyn's got that breaking pitch working today. Starts it at the middle of the plate and ends up about a foot outside.
d'Arnaud hit a 2-run homer in the 5th inning, one of 4 home runs the Mets have hit this afternoon. His 3rd home run of the year and his first since coming back from the disabled list. 4 games since returning. He's 5 for 16 with 3 extra base hits. And he grounds one out to Simmons. And that'll retire the side to the 9th. 3 more outs to get for Jeurys Familia. Is on Saturday, June 27th, when the Mets play the Reds, featuring legendary classic rock artist, the Steve Miller Band. It's all presented by Pepsi, all included in the price of your ticket. Purchase tickets online at Mets.com/concerts. Well, Jerry's Familia required just one pitch to get the final out in the 8th. Now he stays on, looking for his 19th save of the year. He'll face Nick Markakis, who memorably grounded into a game-ending double play on Friday night just as Familia's son was being born. Jerry's Familia Jr., who we have already decided is going to be forever nicknamed DP.
Like we have anything to do with it.
No. But if he ever makes it to the majors 20-some years from now, we'll remember.
There we go.
Of course, we'll be long since retired. 1-1 to Markakis. Probably Jay Reese will be sitting in our chairs doing the commentary
right.
for his son.
He looks a lot calmer this afternoon than he did on Friday night.
He was throwing hard but jittery in Friday night's
Makes
game.
sense.
Walked a couple, which you don't see that often. Markakis has been on base 3 times today, a single, a double, and a walk. And Familia gets ahead of him 1-2. Well, this has been some afternoon for the Mets bullpen after Dylan G got routed for 8 runs and 11 hits in 3 2/3. The bullpen has turned in 4 1/3 scoreless innings as the Mets rallied from 5 runs down. It would be the Mets' biggest comeback victory of the year if they pull it off. They hadn't rallied from more than 3 runs down this season. Quick pitch, and the fastball misses low, 2-2. Juan Uribe on deck, then Kelly Johnson for the Braves in the 9th.
I think Familia just quick pitched the umpire. The key was not ready for that.
Gary Cederstrom has already umpired his memorable Mets game for his career.
That's right.
He had the plate June 1st, 2012.
3 years ago, just about.
Of course, the umpire they always remember from that game isn't Cederstrom, it's Adrian Johnson,
Right.
who called the foul ball on Beltran's ball down the line. 2-2 coming. And the slider misses low and a full count to Markakis. Well, obviously, with a 2-run lead, the last thing he can afford to do is walk a guy who has not hit a home run all year.
Well, this is where you sense, if you're on the right side of the diamond, that you're going to get a hard sinker from Familia, but he's going to have to center it a little more. Look for Markakis more apt to pull the ball to you. Expect it.
3-2. Flared to Flores on one hop. Takes his time. 1 out. When we're done here, WB Mason postgame live will be on the air. Eamon McEnany and Jim Duquette will have all the highlights, the analysis, the interviews, the statistics, the breakdown, the recap. It'll all be there right after we're done here. Juan Uribe 2 for 4 today. 2 singles and RBI. Braves led 5-1. They led 8-3. But they haven't scored since the 4th, when Kelly Johnson drove in a run against Alex Torres. And the Mets bullpen has allowed just 1 hit since then.
You know, the Braves had such a big win yesterday for their ball club. Their bullpen performed well. They came back late in the game, won in the 11th. But this game has got to be disheartening in the same way, because it's almost like the same game they played over and over all season long. Good offense, no bullpen.
Looped into shallow right center. That's going to fall for a hit for Uribe, his 3rd hit of the day. And so the Braves will get the tying run to bat in the 9th against Familia.
Well, this is one of those where you're coming inside, caught the middle, and just jammed Uribe. He's so strong, dumps it into right center field.
That is really the thing that has characterized this series. Win or lose, the Braves have continued to fight every game, and they've been right on the verge. The Mets had to get so many huge outs late in the game on Friday. Were unable to seal the deal yesterday, and now Familia trying to avoid a similar fate today. Kelly Johnson's been on base 4 times in a row, a double, 2 singles, and a walk. He's scored 1. He's driven in 2. And he fouls back the first pitch fastball, 0-1. Andrelton Simmons waiting on deck. And Johnson lifts one foul. 0-2. Familia already has 3 saves this year of more than an inning. All 3 of those were 5-out saves. Today being asked to get a 4-out save. Especially with no situational left-hander, it's become imperative for Familia to get that extra out or 2 in the 8th. He's ahead on Kelly Johnson. 0-2. Overthrew that fastball. 1-2.
Well, you and I were talking about if Jerry Blevins was on the roster, he would have pitched to Freddie Freeman in the bottom of the 8th, top of the 8th, sorry.
Uribe at first and 1 out. And Johnson just got a piece to stay in there. Well, Familia was so heavily used the first month and a half of the season. Terry's been able to go to him for these longer stints because he hasn't had nearly as many appearances in the last month. It's kept him a little fresher and available to go longer in games. One-two to Johnson. Lifted to left center, but that's where Lagares is playing. 2 out. And Kelly Johnson has hit the ball well all day. Hit that ball well too, but the Mets were positioned perfectly. And now the Braves are down to their final out with Andrelton Simmons coming up.
Thorn in the side for the Mets pitchers all season long.
Well, Simmons had a 4-hit day yesterday. He's gone 0 for 4 today. Hit one ball very hard, a line drive to third that Tejada caught back in the 3rd. And Tejada's going to play right along the line against Simmons. He's the tying run at the plate. Lower away with the slider for ball 1. Simmons 1 for 9 in his career against Familia. Each team now with 14 hits. And Simmons takes a slider for a strike. 1-1.
Good breaking ball behind in the count. That has been the difference, as you see Pierzynski on deck. It's a pinch hitter. That's been the difference for Familia to me from last year to this year. Ability to throw that slider for a strike when he needs it.
1-1 to Simmons. Up and in. 2-1. If Familia can nail it down, Sean Gilmartin would get the win in this game, and it would be Gilmartin's first major league win. But one more big out to get, and that 27th out was elusive for the Mets yesterday. 2-1. Breaking ball hit on the ground. Flores to his right. Goes to second. In time, and the ball game is over. Jeurys Familia gets the 4-out save. The Mets hit 4 home runs to come from 5 runs down for the first time this year. And they take the rubber game from the Braves in a wild affair, 10-8.
Well, just great offense by the Mets to come back with the 4 home runs. 14 hits, but I think this game will be remembered also for Sean Gilmartin's first big league win with his 2 great innings of work in the 5 and the 3rd scoreless innings by the Mets bullpen that allowed them to come back in this ball game.
Daryl Siciliani hits his first big league home run. Dilson Herrera gets his first big league stolen base and makes an exceptional defensive play to help the Mets out against Freddie Freeman in the 8th inning. And the Mets get themselves a very exciting 10-8 victory over the Braves. Juan Lagares hit a 3-run homer to put the Mets in front after they trailed at one time 8-3. But the bullpen with 5 1/3 scoreless innings as Gilmartin gets his first big league win, and Familia secures it with a 4-out save. For every Mets win, the Mets Foundation is proud to contribute $2,500 to the Cats Women's Hospital and the Cats Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit NorthshoreLIJ.com. KIWH. This win brings the total contribution so far this season to $85,000. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. By Chase, so you can easily master the way you bank. And by Tri-State Honda, hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2015 models. Final score this afternoon, the Mets 10 and the Braves 8. Tomorrow, the Mets start a 4-game home-and-home series against the Blue Jays. Noah Syndergaard against his old organization faces Mark Burley. Our coverage begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow right here on SNY. Now for Ron Darling, Steve Gelbs, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason postgame live. Let's join Eamon McEnany and Jim Duquette in the studio. Take it away, guys.